Colorado. Island Podcast. Island Podcast. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi, Dan. Welcome, everybody, to the Streakers Island Podcast. It is I, the self-proclaimed sports analyst, and we're going to have a few different guests coming on today. It's going to be a bomb diggity show. That's what the old folks say like me, bomb diggity. So we're joined by Mr. Lane Dashing Dashco, Mr. More for Your Money,
woo,
and Adam/Steve/Genius.
Genius, boy, that's being generous.
I am. I'm a self-proclaimed genius.
Yeah,
wow,
that's
Dan,
nice. Self-proclaimed genius.
That's so hurtful.
We already have some excitement in the comment section, and it's a good time to be excited because there have been. We all were worried yesterday that today was going to be a quiet day.
I was thinking that, yeah.
We were mistaken. There's been a lot of big moves. I'm going to start off with my big surprise right now is that Brock Besser is off the market and staying in Vancouver.
Yeah, that's a shock.
Yeah. Brock Besser signing 7-year, $7.25 million per year equals out to just over $50 million. I think this is, I'll be honest, I think this is a phenomenal decision by Vancouver because Ehlers, Adam, you were saying I believe maybe it was you, Adam. Maybe it was my mother. You're basically my mother, Adam. Was saying that Ehlers doesn't want to sign in Canada due to the media pressure.
Well, yeah, I would understand that. Like, I didn't say that, but I know I've heard that he doesn't want to stay in Toronto. I know it's like a lot of different things. Like, I know there's like 14 or more teams like involved for Ehlers. I would be surprised if he does stay in Canada, it would be with Winnipeg. I don't think
because I heard Winnipeg was going to go for. I heard Winnipeg was going to go all in on Besser, and this is interesting. I comments here saying about Corey Perry a 5-year deal. I haven't heard the term yet. Now, if they do a 5-year deal, that's just so they can overpay him and not go against your cap.
No, it's a 1-year deal for Corey Perry. 1-year deal, 3.5 with a base salary and bonuses. Just the buy pup announced on our text line that Perzetti from Montreal, the Leafs assigned him to a 2-year league minimum contract. So I think that's a good gamble for Toronto. I like this guy. He's feisty.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with Matthias Bacielli. Like, it's like there's no risk in the deal.
Yeah, I really like that contract. That's a great deal.
Unless Macielli scores 51 points next year, the Leafs don't have to give up anything. Like, it would be a second if he scores 51 next year, but that's also an if. That's a big if.
I think he could do that.
I think he can.
Well, I think he can, depending on who he plays with. But, like, again, like, he has to score 51 or more, plus the Leafs make the playoffs. But
that's not a lot.
Making the playoffs. It's not a lot, but
it's better.
Like, you never know. Never know.
I mean, I think you're playing with Matthews and I think you get 51 points easily.
Which
easily.
I could see him more on that Nylander, but now I've heard. I don't know if you guys have heard about that. There's been rumors now that Max Domi could be on the trade block.
I hope that.
Yarncroke and Kemp are all potentially moved.
Well, I've been hearing that for like since yesterday that people think he's going. Even after the just the Macielli trade, I've seen some people being like, Domi's probably gonna get moved. And I'm like, if that's the move you're basing that off of, then you haven't really been paying attention, in my opinion, at least.
Well, no, that was a stupid trade for Toronto yesterday.
It was not. No, it wasn't a stupid trade.
Stupid.
That's a good
trade. It's a great trade. That doesn't make that that's such. Dan, that's such a weird opinion, given that the Leafs aren't giving. They give up a 3rd-round pick for the kid. He's 24 years old.
Yeah,
giving up much.
3.5 million cap hit. We're probably a dump salary.
He scored 57 points 2 years ago.
In
He's
Phoenix.
24 years old.
Yeah, and Phoenix isn't even good.
Yeah.
I could have got
they
50
weren't good,
points
but
in
the fact-
Phoenix. There's no one to play with.
No, you couldn't have.
Dan,
You
Curry
can't
scored
get 50 points in NHL
23.
25 on easy.
He scored 60 points. He scored nearly 60 points with a shit team. That's good. That's not bad. That's good. That could show that you can play
We'll
with
see
good
who's
teams.
right, but I'm calling it. I think it's a dumb move. I think it's a Alexander Kerfoot contract all over again.
Which was a good contract.
Okay, but Kerfoot
No, it
wasn't
wasn't.
expected to put up like 30 points and play with Austin Matthews, though, or John Tavares, or William Nylander. Like, he wasn't, like, that wasn't the point of the Alex Kerfoot signing, though. Like,
Well, you
when you
traded
think about it,
Kadri to get Cole Kerfoot, don't forget.
yeah,
No,
but
you
that was
traded
because
Kadri to get
there was a
Tyson
different
Barrie.
reason of why that.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
just
there was a
useless.
there was a reason we traded Nazem Kadri. Was it a good reason? No, not particularly, given what's happened. But like,
No.
there was a reason he was traded.
Oh, boys, I got the breaking news of the day. Everyone, make sure you're seeing
Wow.
it. This is what we've been waiting for all day. I want everyone tuned in. TJ Tinham is signed with the Colorado Avalanche. That's the one we've been waiting for. I don't know who that is. I just wanted to say it. I just wanted to say it because it popped up.
But it's been very
Good job,
Good
TJ
job.
Tinham. I don't know who you are, but congratulations.
Hey,
Actually, though, I want to talk to you guys a bit about the goalie market right now. And
yeah. I got to heat the bait.
who is surprised about?
oh, Connor Brown signed in New Jersey.
Yeah, we know.
4 years, $12 million.
We know, Dan.
Great
Wow.
deal for Connor Brown.
That's huge. That is huge.
Great deal for New
Talked about
Jersey. That's who the Leafs should have got.
That would be
But
good.
Okay,
Shoulda,
but
woulda, coulda.
to goaltending, because I think this is your biggest issue for the Edmonton Oilers. Thatcher Demko just locked up an extension, right? So Demko is not available, which I'm surprised Vancouver gave him a 3-year deal at 8.5 per year with his injury history. We got an excited Dan. You're not the only one pumped about Connor Brown. So there you go.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm disappointed it didn't come to Leafland, but for New Jersey, that's a huge move for New Jersey. You know, Sheldon Keefe, for example, did coach Connor Brown in his rookie year. I mean, I think that's a really good move
I
for New
wasn't being
Jersey.
mean, Smith Key.
You're being called out, Lade.
I wasn't being mean. I was just picking on Dan because it's fun.
But then you look at, though, Jake Allen's gone. This is the signing for their. I was shocked New Jersey locked him down this cheap at 1.8 per year over 5 years. I think it's the 5 years.
Over 5 years, well, that's why he's not going to be playing in 5 years.
Vladar is gone 2 years, 6.7 over the 2 years with the Flyers. But Adam, you were telling me about Edmonton might be going after a goalie that I'm shocked about.
Oh yeah, I saw that Kevin Weeks is currently reporting that Oilers have interest in Carter Hart. So you're putting a lot of risk signing him. If they do go after him, that's of course like a big if. That like you're risking that in 3 weeks, basically, he may be going to prison. You're putting a lot of risk in potentially signing Carter Hart now. But like Carter Hart is when he's healthy and when he's played in the NHL, he's been very good for, no offense, but a bad Flyers team, some bad Flyers teams, and like he's a very good goalie, but he also hasn't played in 2 years, 2 or 3 years. Like you never know what he's going to be now, given that he hasn't played any professional games in a while. So,
call me crazy, but if this Carter Hart signing happens, it reminds me of Philadelphia Eagles signed Michael Vick. It's a very controversial signing, and you're going to have fans be okay with it. And you're going to have fans hate you for it. And you're going to get some protesting. There's going to be a lot of drama. But I'm not saying it's right for Edmonton to do it. But besides of trading someone, I could see Edmonton trading for Joseph Wall. Besides of trading for someone, what else can you do?
Anton
what are they
Forsberg.
going to do? They
Anton
don't have
Forsberg.
anything.
No, you need a top goalie, Jacob. No
Anton
BS.
Forsberg. He could be a top
Dan,
goalie.
what are they going to give up? Dan, what are they going to give up for Joseph? Though they don't. Edmonton doesn't have anything to give up in a trade, though. That's of any value to the league.
Adam, I got a question
that's
for
true
you.
too. But maybe the Leafs get a couple draft picks, right? They don't have a first round pick in like for how many years, right?
Adam, I got a question for you. I said on this podcast, and the Moore brothers over here, these two guys over here, they laughed at me and gave me the circus book. But I said when the Edmonton Oilers traded Evander Kane for a fourth-round draft pick, that was a mistake. They should have got a goalie. Am I right or wrong? Because now
I agree.
look at the goalie market. There's no one left. You waited for Jake Allen. He's gone. You tried to get Thatcher Demko. He's gone. You wanted Gibson. Well, good news. You didn't put in a good enough effort because you didn't have anything to put up. Now he's gone. There's your 3 goalies. You get one of those 3 goalies. You're locked and loaded for next season. Now what are you going to get? Now what? There's no one left.
Yeah. I agree, Lane. Like they definitely should have tried harder. Like especially like Evander Kane, you could have given up something for like.
You know, time you could get Sheloffs for Evander Kane.
Whoa! Boston got Tanner Jeannot and Nick Cousins. We signed in Ottawa for only $825. That's a great deal.
Wow.
For Ottawa.
Like a euro and like total.
He's been
phenomenal.
That number.
And I love this move by the Bruins, too, just bringing in – you lost Trent Frederick and you lost some grit. So now you're bringing some grit back into your lineup in Tanner Jeannot. And truthfully, I think I'd rather have Tanner Jeannot than Trent Frederick. But
I like this Jeannot kid. He's underrated.
But when we talk about the Oilers, my big question is, guys, it's not just goaltending. Who's on your fourth line besides of Kasperi Kapanen? Because Connor Brown's gone, right?
Victor Albertson's gone. He got traded to Boston. Boston's looking really good now.
Did that trade get confirmed?
Yes, it did.
I didn't see that got confirmed.
Oh, yeah, Victor Albertson for a 5th-round pick. So that does clear up $4 million cap space.
That's a good deal for Boston.
Good deal for both sides, right? Edmonton needs the cap space, and Boston got a very good player. I think with $4 million. I know he had a poor year in Edmonton, but he was a 30-goal scorer 2 years ago. I think it's a great move for Boston.
Well, I think nobody's going to talk about this, but Edmonton's biggest loss currently is that they lost Corey Perry.
Oh, 100%. I agree with you.
Corey Perry's
playoffs.
Epic fail at the beginning. We signed Corey Perry.
Yeah,
epic
Corey
fail.
Perry, despite his age, was
and in Los Angeles. Of all teams.
Yeah.
And you know
so
what?
you're probably going to face them.
And LA's looking to go over that hump. That's a phenomenal move.
I don't know why Toronto want to get Corey Perry.
Because he doesn't want to come to Toronto.
Yeah, true.
And Toronto doesn't want to pay Corey Perry $3 million to be on your fourth line. That's the issue.
I would.
Like everybody acts like I hate that everybody acts like everybody wants to come to Toronto when like if they've lived in the area, because it's just not true.
No, a lot of players don't want to play here because of the stress.
Yeah, well, because Bennett didn't want to.
Matthew Nice did.
That was clear.
Well, Matthew Nice. I think I would say Matthew Nice kind of took the lead of John Tavares, because if Evan Bouchard was worth 10 as a unrestricted, and you're looking here, I'm going to say this, Matty Nice could have got 8 in open market, no problem.
Did you guys?
For sure.
Well, Matty Nice has embraced the pressure, though. That's the thing. He embraced the pressure of playing in this city because he loved the city. So why would he not? Like, why would he not resign when he's already embraced so much of the pressure that comes with playing in this city? Like, I'm not really surprised he took less. And I'm not surprised that he loves the city because he loves the pressure. It's clear as day. That's why he goes out and he tries hard every day, because he knows the pressure and he loves it every day.
By the way,
I love him for it.
Interesting here in the comments section. Then we'll get back into some more of the Leafs conversation. We're moving back over to the Edmonton Oilers. McDavid's certainty in Edmonton is dwindling every year. Who's to say McDavid won't get traded for a bunch of pieces from New York or something? They get our boy Sheesh at a part of,
Think about it, they did trade Wayne Gretzky, right? So Edmonton is known for trading a franchise player.
Yeah, but given how much they got for Gretzky, how much are they going to get for McDavid? Like, McDavid's going to be worth a lot. What does New York
depends,
really
though. If McDavid's a rental player, he's not worth as much. Call me crazy here.
True.
If Edmonton comes out of the gate and close to trade deadline, they're not in a playoff spot, Connor McDavid gets moved.
Yeah,
but
McDavid will not want to stay in Edmonton to be. He has said he wants a Stanley Cup, and he will only play somewhere that's a cup contender.
Well, Jacob, a good point.
We got some other comments. He's not a fan of the Jeannot contract.
Yeah.
Contract for Boston. Like, Tanner Jeannot's a great player, and he's contributed to winning a cup with Tampa twice.
But
He was
a
big part
3.4
of-
is expensive for more of an enforcer type player, Chris. I get where you're coming from. 5 years is my
But then
only
it
thing. I
goes
don't know if I would have
okay.
given him 5 years.
So, Jacob, I have a good comparison to today because I've seen a lot of people say it, and it's that this year there's going to be a lot of people
agree, man.
overpaying players because all the big guys came off the market. A good comparison to how today could turn out is it's a different sport, but it's the 2016 NBA free agency where, like, Timothy Mozgov got like a 5-year, $100+ million deal, and he was absolutely garbage of a player. Like, players are going to get overpaid today for certain, but I don't know if Tanner Jeannot got like overpaid. But like, when
Yeah, I
there's no-
think if you got it for under $4 million, doing pretty good.
Well, it's
Yeah,
tough
exactly.
though.
Like,
Okay,
it could've
but
been worse.
I'm going to flip this on
Could've
you
been
guys a little bit. Nick Cousins, 825.
I'd rather Nick Cousins and Tanner Jeannot.
Comparable
Yeah.
players. Yet Tanner Jeannot's won a cup, but
So did Nick Cousins. He won in Florida, didn't he?
Ottawa. No,
so
but
did Nick
Ottawa
Cousins. It's interesting here
overpaid.
saying about too back in the comments about why
Like,
he
Jeannot
became a
got paid
Rangers
more than
fan
Connor
from all the
Brown,
former
man.
Oilers, and
I
Yeah,
know.
but
I will
Tanner
say,
Tanner Jeannot better than, like, you could say Tanner Jeannot when he was there in Tampa. He was like a big piece for them. He was a big reason that
He
they
was
were winning.
100%.
Because Tanner Jeannot like changed a lot about that Oilers. Like, I mean, the Tampa group. I remember when we played them in 2022. Like, he was a nuisance. He was a pain in the ass.
Oh, for
And like
sure
that's
he
what kind of
was.
players want, despite the
So's
money,
Nick
like
Cousins, though.
3.4 billion.
but so's Nick
But
Cousins
Nick
at
Cousins-
825.
I can
but that's
see
a lot of
Jeannot
money.
being a Boston type of player too.
Okay, but who would you rather have,
Cousins
Tanner
is.
Jeannot or Connor Brown? Comparable contracts. I'd rather
Connor
have
Brown, I
Connor
hate
Brown.
to say it.
I'm not saying
Brown,
that
I
Tanner
think.
Jeannot's a bad contract. It fits Boston, but I think he's overpaid by about $1 million.
Yeah, but
He did have off year last year.
Wait,
But as
Nick
Adam
Cousins
pointed
is
out
coming-
earlier, the market's not great right now, so teams are going to overpay.
Supply
which
and
makes me
demand, right? It's
wonder,
like real
how
estate.
quiet will Toronto be today?
I
So
like
I
the
heard
one
they're not doing
signings they
anything.
did
Oh,
so far.
I
I
heard
think
they're
that's a
not
great signing.
I basically heard Toronto
on
is
Nick
basically
Cousins-
done for a while.
No, I don't think we're
Jacob,
done.
Well, I heard they're not
on
really.
Nick Cousins, he
They might
signed
do
for
trades, but they're not really
$800,000
signing
last
anyone.
year.
What'd you say, Adam? Sorry?
Nick Cousins made 800. He was signed for 1 year, $800,000 last year by Ottawa,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
put up 41 points here.
Crazy.
I'm shocked
Take-
Ottawa got him this cheap.
Take that.
Yeah.
Take that with what you want. Then he made $800,000 last year. He's now he's up that.
He's a
salary
good
now.
player.
But I think that
Yeah,
might
but he
be
just
one of my
signed for
favorite
like
signings
less than
of the
a
day.
mil. Yeah, he
100%.
signed for
I
less
agree
than
with
a
you.
million last year. I think Toronto. Back to Toronto. Like, Toronto will be interesting, but it's like, I don't know if they'll be done maybe for today outside of maybe a trade because Granlund's not gonna sign today, nor is Ehlers. So it's like, how much does Toronto really want to spend on who's on the market still currently? When
The
you have those
market's
two
not
guys,
great right now, and it's not the type of players Toronto
Yeah.
wants or needs.
I would.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't
there's
know.
no-
Like I would bought in Connor Brown. I would bought in Nick Cousins. I would buy some players.
Okay, but
for
Dan, maybe they
Toronto.
didn't want to come
then- exactly. Like, you can't just
because
say
I mean,
that
you
they
also
should've brought
look like there's also teams on. There's teams that are doing something behind the deli that they shouldn't be. When you look at Christian Dvorak getting $5.4 million over 1 year,
I called that last night.
absolutely insane.
I called it last night. I said he's going to get paid today. I don't think it'll be
That's
that
a
high.
terrible contract.
Terrible
Well,
contract.
Connor Brown's also going to get more ice time in New Jersey than he would in Toronto, though.
Mhm.
As currently
100%.
constructed, New Jersey will give him more ice time than Toronto will. That's just a fact.
100%.
Like, it
I will
sucks,
say,
but he went where he's going to get ice time.
Did you guys see Logan Stankoven? I know this was earlier in the day, but he got an extension done in Carolina, 8 years, $6 million
That's
a year.
Way too much
I
money.
love this deal.
No.
I love this deal for Carolina.
How
Good
much-
deal, Dan.
Logan Stankoven's
That's a great
player,
deal.
though.
$6
That's a great
million.
deal for them.
He's young.
Logan
He's only
Stankoven's gonna
22.
pop off next year. Logan
And also, too,
Stankoven's going to be great next year. I don't know
So if
why
you
people are
look,
sleeping
right,
on Logan.
Carolina actually turned around the disaster Rantanen trade and got draft picks and a good player now for 8 years at $6 million a year.
a good player, not a franchise player. That's the mistake.
No, but Logan, $6 million is not what you pay a franchise player, though.
Why not?
Like you're not paying Logan Stankoven to be your franchise guy. That's what you have Sebastian Aho for.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying you traded Rantanen, who is supposed to be a franchise guy.
Yeah, but Dan,
to trade
no, I understand it didn't work out.
I'm saying though, all things considered, this actually, I think Carolina did a good job with what they had to work with.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
But going back to Toronto for a second, I don't see Toronto paying what a lot of these players have been paid today, and I think that's why they're quiet. I don't see
Brad Shilligan's smart right now.
He is. Like, again, I'm looking.
Smart.
I don't mean to just pick on Christian Dvorak, but I really do feel $5.4 million is insane for a. John Tavares is making $1 million less than Christian Dvorak. I want you to think about that.
That's crazy.
Like Christian.
I called it. He's going to get paid today.
By the way, you guys want to hear a crazy stat that I read before we came on?
I love stats.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna this blew my mind. Vancouver is paying this is how I'm being straight. This is crazy. Vancouver's Vancouver's paying Seelovs, Lankinen, and Demko the same amount that Florida's paid Marchand, Ekblad, and Bennett. That's insane.
Right?
The difference between a good GM and a bad GM.
3 goalies compared to 3 players.
Okay, but if Thatcher Demko, and this is the big if with Thatcher Demko, if he's healthy, I know it's a huge if, and if he gets back to his old form, you have a guy that can take you on a playoff run in that. And I think we've seen now, you look with the difference in the Stanley Cup final, and I think one of the biggest difference in that was goaltending. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, but you're never going to get
No, but with Thatcher Demko, he is good enough when he's healthy. He could be that guy. I'm shocked Vancouver's taking this risk. I personally think Shelovs is an NHL goalie, so I don't understand why you pay Lankinen. I think he's paying him like $5 million around. Rough.
I didn't like that contract.
Are we going to trade one of those way? Are we going to trade one of those?
You have to.
Does Edmonton call Vancouver and say we want Shelovs? Which again, Lane, it brings up to your point. Why not just do?
Vander Kane for Seelovs. You had it right there.
I think the Tavares contract, ageist is part of it. I mean, in all honesty, at his age, you're expecting his performance to get worse. But it's the difference between
wanted to stay.
Brad Treliving basically said to Tavares, "Look, we want to win a cup, so either take less money or go fly fishing."
Yeah, I think Tavares chose to take that less money because he loves this team. He loves this city. He has 3 young kids, and him and his wife didn't want to move again.
No.
So he made the decision. And I love him. John,
no power to them.
I got a question
for
you guys.
I love Johnny.
Me too.
No, I will not answer this question.
All right, well then leave. I'm just kidding. Then leave.
Oh,
I'm joking. But
I'm joking too.
What did you guys think about going back on all the Leafs signings yesterday? What did you guys think about all the Leafs, Tavares, Nyes, and now Lorenz, all taking shots at Mitch Marner? Pew, pew, pew.
Love it. Love it.
Even Steven Lorenz, I don't know if you saw on his Instagram, when he signed his contract, he took a picture of an M&M box and said, "Yeah, I'm not like them. I'm not like that. I'm not like that, bro."
Mike drop.
I love Stevie Lorenz. I love Matty Nyes. And it sucks that Marner's leaving. I posted on my Instagram story that I'm like,
I don't care either.
I thank Marner for the memories, but it was time to move on.
I don't.
It sucks that it ended. No, but Dan, what I really feel bad for is that this guy is I get why people are angry with him. I get all that, but it's he had every right not to waive his no move. He had every right to do all of this. And it's but the fact that people are oh, we should boo him and he's an absolute.
I boo him when he comes here.
Other very
Dan, we can't afford to boo him. We can't afford Leaf tickets.
But Marner was a Leaf guy growing up. He wanted a cup here. It sucks the way it's ended. I won't boo him because I feel that's just like he's done nothing wrong in my opinion. He's done everything that he's legally
Another goalie off the
obligated
board.
to do with contract. Like, and we had to move. It was time, and like well, you know what, Marner, you'll be missed, but Matty Nyes is going to score 30 goals next year, put up 90 points. Let's go, Matty Nyes.
I mean, Marner didn't do anything wrong, but he didn't do anything right either, right? I mean,
yeah, but it's like you can't like. I feel like I get everybody's angry by his like playoff performances and everything, but I'm like, don't you think that really?
I never liked him from day one.
His parents and his agent clearly have too much influence on him. Like they've had too much influence in him since he came into the NHL, and now he's gone now because his agent and his parents have been like talking in his ear constantly for the last 9 years of his career, and he's let it get to him, and now he's gone.
Is he a grown man or not?
Hey, people, hi. There's looking like the Hurricanes are closing out to acquire Miller from the Rangers.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Really? Wow. I saw Ryan.
Wow, that's interesting. And what about for goalie, Lane? You said there's a goalie off the board. Who's the goalie guy?
He's Capo Kakinen, but he's not a big. He's just another goalie. He's going to Montreal, and Seattle Kraken have just signed Ryan Lindgren.
Oh, yeah, wow. Interesting.
Interesting for the Montreal one. What happens to Dobis, who's a restricted free agent? I thought he looked pretty good.
That's what I'm wondering. I like this Dobis guy.
There's also do they really send him back to AHL? Like, is like that will like stunt his growth, in my opinion. Is
I think it will. Montreal's a cup contender. I mean, at least they were smart enough to not. At least they were smart enough to not pay Christian Dvorak $5 million to be a third line center.
Yeah, but
we're also hearing
let him go for that place.
We're also hearing the Leafs are working on an extension with Anthony Stolarz. So that's another thing that's going on right now in the background for Toronto. Now that's
maybe we're trading Joseph Wall.
No,
guys,
no. Dan, who is better available than Joseph Wall? Please tell me.
Nobody. I don't care. Get rid of Joseph Wall. You need a DNA change. Get Edmonton to give you 2 first-round picks of Joseph Wall.
Okay, Dan. We got to play the song now.
Dan hates that man too. Dan, you hate Joseph Wall too much, man. There's too much.
He's terrible.
You know what? I guarantee you, Dan and Joe Wall were once roommates when Dan worked on the auto shows, and he stole his girl. That's how much Dan hates him.
Dan, you're hurting my brain, and you have been all season with your talk.
Hey, I gotta.
You're hurting my brain saying Mitch Marner's a good person.
He is a good person.
No, he's not. He's a piece of crap. He canceled his charity event.
At the end of the case, he had every right to cancel that charity event. Number 1. Number 2, with Mitch Marner, at the end of the day, if teams are stupid enough to give them no-move contracts, then the players have I am more angry at Kyle Dubas than I am at Mitch Marner, if that makes any sense to you, boys.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Because Kyle Dubas handcuffed this team, and not in a way that you want at night in the bedroom. Like, they were making this unworkable for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I think Brad Treliving has done a good job, and finally he's like, oh, and now we're starting to see, ignore the bot in the comments that I can't delete for anyone watching on Twitch. Remove that. But I think Brad Treliving is now in an ability where he's able to make moves. I'm hearing he's been making phone calls about Nazem Kadri.
Yeah.
Nazem Kadri is everyone's laughing about reduce, reuse, recycle with the Toronto Maple Leafs. But at the end of the day, I would love to see Kadri coming back and move Tavares down to that third line. And maybe that's something working out with Kemp and Yarncroke. I wonder if it's going to be Kemp and Yarncroke. And I'm going to make Adam very angry, and maybe Dan. Maybe we send Easton Cowan to Calgary, and we bring in Nazem Kadri.
No way.
Yes way.
You know what?
BK,
I can see
have it your way.
Jacob, do you want me to be angry? No, I won't be angry, but I'm like, Easton Cowan, though, at the end of the day, in my opinion, no matter how good he was in the CHL, like, I think he's going to be a project.
Another goalie up the board.
Who else is gone?
I think he'll have to be
Dave
the next.
Oh, where he signed?
Really? Where did he sign?
Islanders.
Island boys.
Wow. So they got to get rid of one of their goaltenders then, because they already have forgetting names.
The Oilers called him about Varlamov.
Yeah, that's
playoff
maybe.
experience.
Yeah, bad year last year for Varlamov would be great for Edmonton. Now they have Bobrovsky versus Varlamov. Holy cow, that'll be a
Darn how
But-
nervous.
final.
Who do you give up for Varlamov though? Like, what did they
I heard
give
that.
up?
I heard
Whoever
that
they
Arvid
want.
isn't leaving.
Like,
I don't. That's
This
my
idiot.
issue with Edmonton, and I agree in the comments here that would be a good move. But
Oh,
what do you move to bring in someone in Edmonton? I probably think we got to go for Anton Forsberg because they just traded Arvidsson. Now they got cap space again.
boys, we
Wayne,
got a
you
big
said
one
what?
here.
Something happened.
Okay,
Wayne,
what's
what
the thing
happened?
talking about?
We got a big one posting in the comments. The St. Louis Blues has signed Nick Bustad for $1.75 million.
Whoa,
That's
nice
a steal.
move.
That's a steal.
Nice move.
That's a steal.
That's a great
Yeah.
comment.
That's a steal. I wish the Leafs
Mr.
did that.
Dashit, I
Man.
just
That's
saw
a
that.
steal.
Very
Mr.
nice.
a
I'm gonna
really
say
good
Mr.
contract.
Dashit.
That's a steal. I gotta
It's a
call
steal, but,
Hold on
like-
1 sec. I gotta. Hello 911. Yeah, I'd like to report out that
Shorty's fire burning on the dance
they hung
floor.
up on me.
Whoa.
really-
Parker Wotherspoon just signed with Pittsburgh for 2 years
That's
and $1 million.
crazy.
Who did?
Parker Wotherspoon. I don't know who that is. I don't remember.
He's Dan's best
He
friend.
sounds familiar.
Dan's best.
Parker
I thought I was
Wotherspoon.
Dan's best. I thought I was Dan's best friend. I'm just turning up my camera now. I'm not
It's okay,
Dan's
buddy.
best friend anymore.
But I will
Wayne, it's
say,
okay.
He lied to me.
right
It's
now
okay.
though, this has been. Are you guys surprised how busy free agency has been today? Because everyone was
No.
going
Yes.
on it was going to be a quiet one.
No.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
surprised.
very
a lot of
surprised.
the trades have been interesting. I wonder how many more trades are going to be made today. Because I
I
think
think
that's
we're-
what
yeah.
today with trades.
Oh, this guy. I know who this is. He's a defenseman.
Well, they're saying with
Yeah,
Toronto
he
though,
played
right?
for
They
Boston
still.
last year.
He's all right.
He's
He's
barely
like
played in
a
the
six.
NHL. But
He's like a third pairing
He's
defenseman. He's not bad
yeah, he's
though.
barely played in the NHL. He's more of an AHL guy, apparently. That's what I
He's
saw
like
in
a-
the stats.
I'd say he's like a Simone Benoit. Like he could fit on your third line you probably want to play him as your seventh, like a depth defenseman. But I mean, if you have to play him on third pairing, I think you could. But like you'd probably rather have him as a healthy scratch, someone who can come in and out of the lineup. Not a terrible player, but I wouldn't say he's anything crazy.
Well, yeah, well, it's a
$1
good
million
deal
now.
for them, I guess, because they're going to be shit this year, probably. Despite having Crosby, who's probably going to still put up a point per game this season, and they're still not going to make the playoffs, and it sucks for Crosby because, well, you could probably trade Crosby and still get a little, like a good, decent thing back, but it's like, how much more can you really affect, like, be crap with Crosby on the ice, though? Like, how much more can you really put Crosby through this, despite Crosby wanting to be there? Like, it's kind of just like, I see it as a crime. As a Canadian, it's a crime to be putting Captain Canada through this. But
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's not going to be a good team this. Oh, Colin White just re-signed with the San Jose Sharks, 1 year, $875,000.
Nice. Yeah.
so San Jose getting some good business done today with William Eklund as well, signing for
Yeah,
I think
William
it's 4
Eklund,
years.
that's a nice move for them. I mean, San Jose's still going to be bad, but like,
Because Eklund's going to be a good piece for them moving forward because he's still relatively young. He's got good chemistry with
I don't know who that is.
Celebrini and Will Smith as well. So it could be this could be good for San Jose because they also have Will Smith now. They got some young defensemen coming through. Like,
no, Will Eklund's
Maybe,
is actually a pretty good player.
Look who
Yeah,
San
he's
Jose
very
bringing
good
some
player.
So
veteran
last year,
leadership.
Eklund, by the way, 17 goals, 41 assists, 58 points, and only a -7 on a team that's not very
Wow.
good.
Yeah, that's
So
pretty good.
and he's a center by trade, but he plays on the wing. I think he was playing on the wing slightly with Will Smith and Celebrini at times, and then Toffoli is there as well. So they got a good young core going there.
So, Lane, I think you wanted to show us a little bit more about this Nick Bukestad move.
Yeah, I just really love this. You look at the comparable contracts around, like what people are playing. He's got Brad Richardson, Nick Bonino, Marcus Johansson, Wayne Simmons. I think he provides Wayne. That's just a comparable in just the cap. But you look at like what he does, like on the ice there, shot power. His zones are all strong. I think this is just such a really good contract, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
You look at
I
the
agree.
players
That's
he's
a great
compared to
signing.
just for the cap hit and what he brings for the team. Like I love this.
That could be a
Well, he
missing
was
piece of St. Louis because they weren't You figure I puts Winnipeg to Game 7 of overtime, right, in the first round.
Like, I'd rather have him than all these players, to be honest. Like, Wayne,
Yeah,
like I would take Bustad over Richardson, Bonino, Johnson, Sims. I'd take if you're telling me you're paying him as much as those guys and the production value you're getting it, I think he's worth way more than that, in my opinion.
Let's head to the comment section and talk about the mighty Ducks. Who do you think the Ducks could pick up to pair a good line match for Kreider? So,
I don't know who could
I'm wondering
do on the market.
maybe
What
about Victor Olofsson out of Vegas?
That's
not a bad move. That's not a bad move.
I could see that. I still think a team's going to take a gamble on Andrew Mangiapane, and I could see Anaheim being that team.
The Leafs should.
Yeah, he's a great player.
I would love Toronto to bring him in. And actually, Andrew Mangiapane is one of those players. I think he's projected to get 4. I could actually see him going a bit lower. Or you know what? Maybe even a Jeff Skinner. I would take a gamble. Jeff Skinner wasn't that bad this year.
No, you got a bum up in Edmonton for sure.
Danov's still available too out of Dallas. Like, there still are some good players. But for Anaheim, I think Anaheim, you need to look for a player that isn't going to break the bank because I don't think your team's very good. By the way, Timu has just informed me I can get some free crap. So if you heard that ding ding,
nice,
free crap from Timu. We're not sponsored by Timu, but we could be. But no, I'm looking like
the mic.
There's actually still some decent players available, but I think the Ducks are going to be more looking for players that they're hoping could do more than what they did. And I look at Victor Olofsson, Andrew Mangiapane, and Jonathan Drouin, and those are the 3 players that I think you could be getting more than what their salary will be paid.
Well, Jacob,
they're guys with more upside, and I get they struggled, especially Jonathan Drouin. But Jonathan Drouin, you got to remember, was supposed to be the franchise player for the Montreal Canadiens not that long ago, right?
I never liked him.
He's a guy that I would take a gamble.
Anaheim has $35.9 million. They're young, so it could be interesting because I don't think they want to overpay anybody, but they could also.
Or do they overpay Nikolai Ehlers?
Yeah.
Do they overpay Nikolai Ehlers and say we want to bring in some top end talent? Here's $10 million. We'll take you to Disneyland. Let's go.
I would have Lane too. I love that Nick Boussaf signing.
We got a bomb from Darren Dreger here. I'll read it out for you guys. Darren Dreger tweeted out 2 minutes ago. Things are percolating around Sabres D-man Bowen Byram. Trade conversations are happening with Calgary, Vegas, LA, St. Louis, among those interesting. Also hearing an offer sheet is currently being contemplated. It's a Darren Dreger bomb. Boom, boom.
So I saw a crazy rumor, which I don't think will happen, but I saw a rumor about St. Louis trading Parenko for Bowen Byron, which I think would be crazy.
Why would you do that?
Because Bowen Byron's younger with more speed, but
Parenko is a tank.
Ethan Bear's going to the Isles, $700K.
Where's Ethan Bear going?
The Islanders
are $700K.
Well, they need to fix the defense now that they just moved on from Noah Dobson, which really surprised me. So they got to retool that defense.
Yeah, well, I guess they just figured Islanders weren't good enough.
Mind you, there are still some very good defensemen on the board. Like Dmitry Orlov is one right away that I think of. You know what, expected to get around $6 million, was a big piece in Carolina. Same with Brent Burns. That's another guy that if he isn't retiring, which I don't think he is.
Yeah, but Brent Burns,
even John Klingberg, you know what? He's projected at $2.5 million. I don't think that's a terrible gamble to try to bring in someone to run your power play.
I agree.
That's a good point.
St. Louis should come out wearing clown mask every practice if they do that. I agree.
Yeah, I know. That would be a terrible trade.
Like, if they were going to trade Colton Parenko, it'd be for something else. There's no way they do it for Bowen Byram.
No.
Unless Bowen Byram is going to be the only piece of the trade.
I didn't realize how good Parenko was until he was on Team Canada for
I still think the Buffalo Sabres are going to move on from Tage Thompson before the start of the season.
What?
I said Colton Parenko's been around the NHL for a while.
Well, I know that. I know who he is. I just didn't appreciate him as much until I saw him with back really good players. I always just liked him in St. Louis. Even back in 2019, I won the cup. But when I saw him in the Four Nations, I'm like, Okay, he is a top NHL top 2 defenseman. He's very good.
Well,
Very
he's always,
underrated.
he's always overshadowed by Petrangelo.
Well,
Which
that
is
was my
more
point, right? I thought he was decent, but then I saw him as the guy in the Four Nations. I'm like, yeah, he's a great dude. I like him.
Just so everyone's aware, too, the Philadelphia Flyers have signed another defenseman, and Dennis Gilbert, 1 year, $875.
I saw that.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Honestly, you know what? That's a nice depth piece. Not spending a lot of money.
I can't
Well, that's the
picture.
thing. Oh
Well,
my
this
God,
is an
guys!
interesting-
Bowen Byram's going to Calgary.
Oh,
Guys, Bowen
Buffalo.
Byram's going to Calgary. Guys, Bowen Byram's going to Calgary. Apparently,
Says who?
I just saw this. I don't know. I just saw this like 14 seconds ago.
Well,
It's from
read
some, like, random
faster.
account, but- Okay, well, I will. It's just. some,
Oh,
like,
actually, wait a
random
minute.
account.
Hold on. Calgary, though, was rumored to be
13
getting rid of
seconds
Rasmus
ago.
Anderson because he doesn't want to stay in Calgary.
Apparently, he wants.
No
He
way.
only goes.
it's
He'll
Rasmus
only go to
Anderson.
Vegas. So
Oh, tell him to.
Seattle crack.
Go to Bridge,
Oh
you know,
no, that's.
they
an
tried to
easy
trade
thing.
him to LA last night, and he said nope.
There's no way Bowen Byram's going for Rasmus Anderson.
Why not?
There's just no way.
I
think
think-
Oh, here it
that's,
is.
like, such a-
Bowen Byram is going to Calgary.
Buffalo,
For what?
Buffalo
don't
doesn't
know.
want to be that good.
I don't think
Anderson.
it's going to be
Rasmus
Bowen.
Anderson
I don't think
so
it's going to
good.
be Rasmus Anderson though.
Could it be for Naz? Could they
Oh
trade
my-
Naz for Bowen? Even
Oh,
then,
that'd
they
be
didn't make
terrible.
any
No.
I don't think
God.
so. I don't think Cal. I'll be honest. As much as people, I think you'd have to give Calgary.
good.
I think you got to give Calgary a lot to get Nazem Kadri, which is why I've said the Leafs should move Easton Cowan to get him.
Pittsburgh signed Wolverspoon.
Yeah, that's what I
Parker
said earlier.
Wolverspoon. Oh, Utah, we signed Yamako. That guy from Edmonton.
Who?
Yamako?
Not sure. who
What's
that
his
is.
name? Kaller Yamako?
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Yamamoto. Do you mean Yamamoto?
Yeah, thank you. I think that's a good gamble signing for Utah. I like that.
I'll keep an update and see what that trade was. I'll try
Yeah,
to
yeah.
follow that. For
I keep hitting the resurface button on Sportsnet, but the website
Dan-
is like very
Dan-
slow at the moment.
Dan, go
Yeah.
if you go on X, I'll send you there's a if you search this on X, you'll get news like right. I'm getting breaking news as it happens. Just
Cool.
search
Me
this
too
on.
on NFL free agency.
If you just search this hashtag on X, you'll get
Okay.
news. It's like the second it happens. Just
Sweet.
keep.
Nothing else
Just
is
keep
coming up yet about.
Ivan Provorov just signed
yeah.
with the Blue. Oh, we know that. That was earlier.
Yeah, well, that happened last night basically, but they just.
I guess it just
confirmed
went
it. It was
official
the same
now.
with Matty Nyes. But yeah, like Matty
You know,
Nyes was official.
And the good
last
thing is,
night. They
Dan,
were
you don't have to keep refreshing the page. It'll just bring up the tweets for you
Yeah.
if you need, because I know it's a little bit quicker than the NHL breaking news. They're like a few hours. It's just to take. It's not that they're slow. It takes so much time to put all these into the computer.
No, I hear you. Yeah.
That's a great
Very
move. That's a
busy.
great comment in the comment section here. And yeah, Yamamoto was someone I thought Edmonton gave. Edmonton gave up on a lot of players that I don't think were the right call to give up on.
Corey Perry, I'm surprised. What's
Yeah, that's a
Quinn
shocker,
Hughes?
too.
I
And
mean,
they
I'm
still
gonna
haven't said anything about what the return is yet for Bowen
give
Byram,
them
which is
time.
the
Maybe
biggest
they
trade
have
of
to
the
go to
day.
the bathroom.
Maybe
Well,
taking a
at least
poo-poo.
they're to be on top of this.
Quinn
He's
Hughes
gotta
is
be on top of
happy. I
this.
know that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure he is.
But I think we're gonna. I think we're gonna keep seeing.
We gotta.
I will say though, I don't know if you guys have noticed, the money has gotten smaller now. Like the first couple
Yeah.
hours with players, I think being grossly overpaid, and
Yeah.
now it's starting to be like, it's chilled down a little bit there.
We got a funny meme from X. I wanted to share it.
Will Borgen just signed with was just signed an extension.
Who signed an
Oh,
extension,
man.
Adam?
Oh, never mind. Never mind. He already signed
Okay.
that. Never mind. I read something wrong. That's all.
How dare you?
I know. I'm sorry, guys.
It's all good. It happens.
Cardi
I know
I'm just
you-
all over the place today. I'm
You
all
read
over
the news, you're
place.
like,
I've
oh,
been
that
saying-
happened. And then, like, oh, that happened like 3
Yeah,
hours
I've been
ago.
saying some bad. I've been saying wrong words. I've been saying stuff I shouldn't be saying. It's just been a poor day for Adam today. Just a poor day.
I mean,
So-
busy
But I mean,
day for everyone, right?
I think what's interesting though is I think this makes me wonder too. Connor Garland, and what's Connor Garland get? Is Brock
He
Besser
always
probably-
out of Vancouver.
Didn't
not Connor Garland,
already-
Mikael Garland. I get those two.
Michael
mixed up.
Grabber, you mean?
Michael
Whatever his name
Gradlin,
is?
yeah.
I
He
think
could
he's
get like
getting at least six,
depends-
right?
given the money.
Oh, he's
today, it's
getting
gotta be like-
paid, bro.
It's got to be like 6 to 7 million in that range.
I would think
It's
7.
gotta
I think
be. Like
7's probably an overpay. I think
6.5?
6.
6.5 maybe, something like that.
I could see that.
How
Oh,
old
boy.
is Graham? How
Oh,
old is he? Is he
Anthony
like
Mantha
30?
signs with the Penguins.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
that's a nice signing.
No, it's not.
That's
He
not
can't
bad.
stay healthy.
I'll take the
That's
gamble
true.
on that, depending on the price.
He should have signed in Vegas. He'd be great on that LTIR thing.
Yeah.
Remember, this could be the last year we're seeing that.
It is the last year they confirmed it. This is it.
Did you guys see? Did you guys see the news on Petrangelo last night?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
retired.
He
Like,
looked-
that's
he's gonna come
sad,
back
eh?
and play.
Very
Yeah.
sad.
Do you think
Great
it's?
guy.
You think he's done? Like you think he'll
Yeah,
try to come
yeah,
back, or you think it's just a straight up retirement?
Yeah. No, that's a straight up retirement. I because whenever a player says they want to get back to normal activities based on a doctor's advice, their career is over. Basically, there's no way he comes back. And Granlund's 33, so it can't be more than 4 years somebody's going to sign him for.
I just
That
want to
takes until
see.
he's 37.
Call me
So
crazy. I
He's
think
older, but I
Michael
don't-
Crazy,
Graham. I think Michael Graham is going to get close to 8.
No.
I
Like
I
8
think
million?
he's worth. I think he's an $8 million player. But
I
with
think that
getting
was
so many
somebody-
players getting locked up, like Blockbuster and all that, who you really have left? Nikolai Ehlers and Michael Grabwin. I think Grabwin's going to get close to $8 million. I hope Toronto's not stupid
that-
enough to pay him that much.
It
but
depends where he goes. If he doesn't want to win a cup, sure, he can get 8.
yeah, I
Look,
think he's going to get
Marcus
close to
Henderson-
8.
He's going to sign.
I
up
wouldn't
for
pay him
San Jose
8.
I don't know.
I mean,
I
not
hear he's
Dallas,
not. Dallas
Anaheim.
cannot afford him. Dallas cannot afford
I
him.
meant Anaheim, Jacob. I meant Anaheim. Okay, it's Anaheim.
Yeah,
or San Jose.
Anaheim would be perfect. If he goes to Anaheim, it'd be $8 million.
If it's going to be $8 million, it's going to be one of those two teams. Nobody else should ever sign
maybe
that
Chicago.
man to $8
Oh, yeah,
million
Jacob,
at 33. Is just
I forgot-
crazy.
I forgot to ask because I forgot this happened yesterday, but I did want to go around the room now that the Leafs don't have a core 4. What do we think about Edmonton being the new team to pick up that scepter and be the core 4? Now they've got 4 players over 10 million. What
They
do we
do.
like? What do we
Okay,
like?
but I'm going to say this. I think Edmonton's core 4 is worse than Toronto's was because I think Bouchard and Nurse are both kind of poop.
But
I
Nurse is
wouldn't pay
making
Nurse a
9.5,
dime over
some 10.
6, and I wouldn't have paid
Anyways.
Bouchard a dime over 8. McDavid next year, you're going to have to pay him what, 16? At
Max
least?
contract probably.
Booch, I wouldn't have even signed.
I don't like
would've
the
tried to
Bouchard. I don't know about you guys.
goaltender.
I hate the
I would've
Bouchard
tried to
contract.
send
I hate it.
Same.
I hate it.
It's a
I hate
bad
it.
contract. It's
And I'm
4
going to say
years
this
at
right
10
now, too. I hate if Edmonton goes for Carter Hart before we fully have a full picture on that.
Oh, they're not.
There's no
Carter-
way
I don't want to
Carter
get into
Hart's
the
not
player
happening.
side of it, but it's just one of those
There's no
things.
way
I
that-
agree with Dan. People will either absolutely love it or absolutely hate it. And I
No,
don't think you
can't.
want that bad juju, I guess. I don't know if that's the right term, but whatever. In your
You can't
locker
do-
room if you're Edmonton.
No.
You're trying to build something there.
There's no way they sign him today, though. There's no way they sign him today. Like if
No.
they do
But
sign him, it won't be today. There's no way they do it today. It would be.
Yeah,
it would
I don't
be
know, I
done
just-
to-
But if,
No one's
Stan, if
touched me
anyone
now
would
with a
do
10-foot
it,
pole.
it's Stan Bowman. Like in my opinion, Stan Bowman's an idiot. Everyone goes on, he's a great GM. He's terrible. The only reason why Edmonton made it to the Cup Finals this year, I'm going to say it right now. LA choked.
Stan Bowman.
Vegas choked. Dallas choked. I don't necessarily know of how much better Edmonton actually was. All those teams choked. LA had a series
Stan-
lead. Dallas should have beat them.
Dallas should have beat them. What do we
Stan
guys?
Bowman
Okay,
also.
are we
Stan
a
Bowman
little
also didn't
confused
even
why
play-
Pontus Holmberg didn't get a RFA?
No, not really.
I'm
I
not
am.
surprised at all. He didn't really
player.
do enough.
He was
He's
a
very-
They
dad.
gave him
Very
ample
good.
opportunities as a league. They gave him good chance last year. You gave him a good chance the year before. And in my opinion, he got worse last year versus the year before. And the Leafs have to change, right? And when you are a big team, locking up those big players with big contracts, something's gotta give. You did a great job getting Knives, Tavares, and Lentz under market value. That's incredible getting those 3 under. But someone's gotta go, and I'm okay with Holberg, the one going. I think you could also see Kemp, the young Cole, going. I think we could see Nick Robinson going. Oh, hi.
Yes, Jacob.
Hi.
The Boston Bruins
Jacob?
have just signed Jordan Harris to a 1-year Jordan Harris from the Montreal Canadiens.
He's all right.
Oh, okay.
That's
Am
a
I supposed to
decent
know who
signing
that
on the back end.
Interesting.
Decent, but does Boston really need him? I guess is the question. But
Yeah, Boston's in trouble. They need to do something.
well, it could be interesting because could they trade Swayman to try and get more? Even though their goaltending situation would just be absolutely garbage, but you need.
Didn't we see a situation in
he needs to get
Edmonton
better all
trading?
around.
Montreal, Capo Caco's 1.15 million over the 1 year.
That's not bad for
Okay.
Kako.
That's a really good signing.
That is. I like that.
That's a very
what
Yeah,
good
but what
goalie.
does Montreal do with Doge now?
What
So what do they
team?
do with Doge? Like, do they re-sign him or do they let him walk at this
I
point?
think
like,
okay. Here's the thing. Here's what's changed now in the NHL. Teams need 3 goalies because the goalies don't stay
yeah,
healthy.
but you can't sit Jacob Dobbs forever because he's still young and he still needs to develop. And you can't send him back to the AHL because that's
Why not?
just like what because then he'll stagnate. Like he'll stagnate down in the AHL. He's good enough to be in the NHL at this point. If Montreal does feel that way, because it seemingly does, because that's why they had him up in the NHL. Like then,
Okay,
what's
but
the
I
point?
think also too they were disappointed in the playoffs when Dobas just played okay, letting a couple weak goals. So I think they feel they need better stability as the backup behind Bakalini.
But he's young. Like, did they really expect him to
I think Montreal, though,
like,
the thing is, though, this is the problem when you almost make the playoffs too early. Now they're in this really weird window where, like, they weren't expected to make the playoffs, but you did, so you can't not make it next year because that's a setback. So you gotta continue to be competitive, and you bring in Kaapo Kähkönen, you get a bit better in that, right? No, not Kaapo Kähkönen. Sorry, I pronounced his name wrong. I'm sorry, Lane. I didn't mean to scare you.
No, I think
Brandon
I gotta look this up.
for 3 years times $2.5 million.
Where do you go?
Tatum's
Sorry,
gone. Brandon Tatum, he went to Utah.
Okay,
So
that makes sense for Utah.
I thought I just saw Patrick Lenny to Boston. But I was like,
Toronto.
what? But I read the tweet wrong.
In Columbus.
That scared me.
I don't know what Montreal will do with Patrick Laine actually, because he was a big piece that got them to the playoffs, but he's only got 1 year left on his deal.
By the way, it sounds like the return for the Keandre Miller trade will center on draft pick compensation. According to a source, Carolina will have 2 first picks, with the Rangers eyeing one of them. So doesn't
Not really surprised by that.
That was just tweeted out.
Not really surprised by that, I guess.
I still want to know what Bowen Byram was traded for.
The Montreal Canadiens have signed Sammy Bayless to a 1 year, $775 contract.
I think we got doped. We may have gotten doped, Lane, because Elliot Friedman hasn't tweeted.
Oh, Brandon Tanev's off the board. Brandon Tanev's going to the Utah Mammoth. 2.5 mil for 3 years.
Wow, that's decent little signing. That's nice to Utah. I can see Utah being a better team next year.
Utah are young, but they're good.
Like I would rather, like we're talking about the Tanner Jeannot. I'd rather have Brandon Tanev than Jeannot.
No, I'd rather have Tanner Jeannot.
Brandon Tanev is basically his brother, but a forward. He blocks.
Yeah, I don't have Jeannot.
Yeah, but Tanner Jeannot is the new era of what an enforcer is, right? He's an enforcer that can actually play.
Yeah.
Brandon Tanev is not an enforcer, and Boston needed. I think Boston wants some more toughness. I think the Bruins are not going to be very good this year.
No, I think Arbison's going to have a breakout year in Boston. I think he'll hit 30 goals.
He's cooked. He's cooked more than a steak.
I don't know if this is really a hot take anymore, but I think something I've just been thinking about a lot is that I don't know if Jeremy Swayman, his numbers when he was a backup.
I said he should go to Edmonton. That's the guy I said.
I don't know how Jeremy Swayman's still going to be as good as he was as a backup. I wonder if what he showed last year was going to be more of what he may turn out to be. was that he's going to struggle a little bit playing more games. And I wonder if that's going to be more of what he is than what he was as a backup to Omar and behind a very good defensive team in Boston. So I wonder is Jeremy Swayman ever going to return to his like amazing backup form, or is he just going to be what he was last year? And that's a low
I think he'll
900
be what
save
he was
percentage.
last year.
And that sucks for Boston because Boston put all of their eggs in on Swayman,
Eggs.
letting Omar go,
Exactly.
which is seemingly a mistake.
Yeah, huge
Which
mistake.
seems like a mistake at this point, given how Omar played last year for Ottawa.
Yeah.
I think Omar is like, I know I was against Omar winning the Vezina when he won the Vezina, but I do think Linus Omar is a very good goalie. He's just not as good as he was
100%.
in Boston, in my opinion. Like, and I don't think Swayman's going to be any better than when he was last year.
I don't think
It's
so
gonna be
either.
very-
Boston made a huge mistake.
I said that from the
gonna be
beginning. I
an
thought they overpaid him.
It's
Not
going to be
just
a very
overpaying him,
interesting.
but putting older faith into him. I think it's a big mistake. I don't think he's a franchise goalie. If you're paying him like a franchise goalie, but you don't have a good backup because they have him as a franchise goalie, and I don't see it happening.
My mic just
The
fought
free
my
agency.
stand.
Oh, that's fun.
I fixed it.
Uh-oh.
That has to be
I'm
a
still
joke.
trying.
No, my mic
I'm still
actually
trying
did
to
fall out of the stand.
I'm still trying to figure out if Bowen Byram's been traded.
I haven't
or
seen the
not, because
return
they-
on that deal yet.
I don't even know
I
if
haven't
he's
even
been
seen that
traded
deal
at this
completely
point.
confirmed yet either.
I saw somebody tweet out not too long ago that he could still be offer sheeted. Like I haven't even seen any confirmation that he has
Well,
been
Jacob,
traded, which is
this Twitter
concerning.
user agrees with you.
What did I say? That's right.
wow.
I'm saying this X user agrees with you. This is just what someone on Twitter said. They agree with you. Carter Hart to the Islanders.
Wow.
I don't think it's a good move though.
I don't think they should touch it.
They shouldn't do it. It's not worth the risk, because then what happens if you get rid of Skinner because you're signing Carter Hart, but then Carter Hart can't sign with you because he's gone to jail potentially. You're putting a lot of risk in doing it, especially if you don't especially if you trade one of Pickard and Skinner because you're going to sign Carter Hart. Like, you're putting a lot of risk in somebody.
By the way,
play
to the
hockey.
comments, I would love
Like-
to see the Nordiques come back. I don't think Nashville's going to lose their team though to get it.
No, Nashville's not going to lose their team. If
I would
anything,
love to
they'll
see
be an
I would love to
expansion
see another
team.
team in Canada though. Like, I will say that, and I think the Quebec Nordiques and
Quebec will
Quebec
get
City would
it.
be an instant rivalry, which would be great.
I would love to see it.
And they
But
have
we
an
already
established
have-
fan base.
Yeah, we only have players going on about tax-free states. It costs too much money to live in Canada, and the Canadian economy
Crimea River.
doesn't have the
So I just
income to support an eighth team. Look, even Winnipeg
So I
have
just
trouble
looked at-
selling tickets.
Yeah, but Winnipeg also has half a decent part of the start of the season. They have the Blue Bombers to contend with, and
Thank
Winnipeg's
you.
owners, mind you, have business, have own property in Winnipeg. They're Canadian, so if it's going to be anything, they're going to have to sell the team. If the NHL wants to move it, they're not going to force the owners to do it. It will be a sale, and I don't know if the owners would want to sell Winnipeg. I think the Jets are fine where they are.
No,
They have
I
a
think
very
every
established
team player-
fan base and a very passionate fan base. They have a very
I'm not
passionate fan
saying we
base.
should move Winnipeg at
Oh
all.
my
I
gosh,
think
that's
Winnipeg's doing
This is
very
the
well.
face that I make to everyone who says Canada's taxes are too high when they're making millions of dollars. Build a bridge, get over.
Yeah. Yes.
Why do you
I have
think
Carter
Aaron
Hart,
Ekblad,
up here
Sam
for
Bennett, and Brad Marchand don't sign in Florida?
Because they
'Cause
want
they
to
have a winning
become a
team.
because they love to
dynasty.
play.
Yeah,
And we also
And
want to
nothing
save on
we
the
don't have
taxes.
Stanley Cup.
it's because
It's
their
not
team
even
won.
the
That's
big
why.
Also, Aaron Ekblad was drafted. Aaron Ekblad was drafted by Florida. Why wouldn't he want to stay with the team who drafted him?
And
Oh, I
know
get
what-
that. I totally get that. But I'm just
He's a man of
saying,
honor.
why do you think we all signed between 6 and 8 in Florida, where we could have hit 9 and 10 elsewhere?
Why did John
Because
Rivera sign for
it's
Florida
a
in
big-
Toronto when he could have got 8 in
Dan.
open market? What's your point?
Okay, Dan, think about it this way, right?
And he
Let's
could have
just say-
got anybody.
But Dan, let me put it to you this way. Let's just say you were working at you want to sell cars, right? But you can only sell cars to till you're 43. And after that, you can't sell cars at that point. What are you going to do? Are you going to like, but you've been at this place for 2 years now, and they're the best at selling cars. They got the best business. They got the best customers. They got the best everything. You're making a lot of money. Your friends are making a lot of money. Everything's going well. You're going to uproot your whole life to go work at some other car place where they're not as good? No, you're going to stay where the money is. You're going to stay where the winning is. You want to be at the best place. That's why they're staying here. They don't care about the tax dollars. They're where because they're winning cups. They're going to the Stanley Cup Finals. This is a winning franchise. If the Leafs had won Stanley Cups, Marner would be staying. Everyone's staying. Everyone's getting cheaper deals.
Right.
When you're winning, people don't care about money. I said this from the beginning. I knew they were going to care about money because when you win, you win. Those extra $2 million don't matter.
That's what I was going to say. You're already making millions. Quickly on a change of subject, Yamamoto was $775 for the year to Utah. I really like re-signing him at a league minimum.
A two-way contract, too.
So that's a great move there. But, Dan, the big difference is there, too, and you talk about it. And I think it's more like you can only spend so much money. You look at Sam Bennett and Brad Marchand, Aaron Ekblad. They've already made millions upon millions of dollars.
Like
I guarantee you the sponsorship dollars they're making in Florida right now, too, back-to-back Cup champions.
Oh, for sure.
And you remember Chris Streveler talked about that when he went back to the CFL versus playing in the NFL. He's like, I make less per year in the CFL, but my endorsement deals are next level here in Winnipeg. And I think that's something, too, that a guy like Sam Bennett and even John Tavares staying in Toronto, bless you.
Yeah.
Is what happened there. John Tavares will make so much. John Tavares will make a lot of sponsorship dollars playing in Toronto as well.
Max Domi last year, he took a pay cut to stay here.
Oh, Dan Max Domi, no.
You're contending with the NFL, the NBA, and Major League Baseball. While in Canada, you're only basically contending with the CFL and the NHL in most cities. Only in Toronto, you're contending with the NBA and the MLB. So it's like, I feel like sports, NHL stars are more like marketable up here in Canada because we love hockey so much. And it's a more visible sport than it is in the States. That's nothing against it playing in a U.S. city. But when you're talking about, you may not make less money, but you will get like higher sponsorship money coming out here because we love our hockey so much. And it's much more marketable here than it is in the States. And it's like, it depends what you want. Do you want your base salary or do you want to make like $100 million on a sponsorship deal with like Tim Hortons or something? Like that's why you see Mac and McKinnon and Crosby on all of the Tim Hortons commercials most of the time is because they're the two, like those two are very marketable in Canada. Most people know who they are, or most people know at least who Sidney Crosby is. And it's like, it's marketable and like everybody would love to see them. Loves to see them, know who they are, and it brings a lot of excitement.
Yeah, for sure.
We got another deal going on. Nico's term signing with the Minnesota Wild.
Wow, that's a good deal for Minnesota. That's a good deal for Minnesota. Well, because do they keep Marco? Do they keep? Is it Rossi? No, not Rossi. There's one player that they have that they like. He's an RFA, and they might not be able to keep him, or they don't want to keep him. But he at least wants to go.
I don't know why you get rid of. If you get rid of Rossi, I think that's such a bad idea. He's such a young.
Think it was Rossi. I think I was thinking of somebody else, but I said Rossi.
No. You're right. That's the guy. I don't know why you get rid of Marco Rossi. He's so young. He's such a good center. Like he's only 23 and like.
Whoever talked about Brandon Tanev signing was wrong. Brandon Tanev is going to Colorado.
I was just about to say that. What? 3 years, $2.5 million per year. Colorado,
not
Avalanche.
Utah.
No,
that's what.
Yeah,
I
go on Sportsnet right now. It's just been changed. Colorado.
It says NHL Network 2 minutes ago.
It says 30 seconds ago. Colorado.
Where?
Everywhere.
Sportsnet.ca.
This is very interesting. I don't know if there was like a screw up or something, but my bad, guys.
You know what? Brandon Tanev just went, you know what? Screw you, Mammoth. I'm afraid of your mascot. And decided to go to Colorado.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if something happened with like the confirmation in Utah. It's interesting. Maybe somebody was just given false information.
Probably. I mean, you never know nowadays. Why it's not like we're there
Because I saw it even on Elliot Freeman. Like Elliot Freeman had said he was going to Utah. I'm pretty sure is what I
Yeah.
saw it on.
Which is usually reliable.
Which
But
is
yeah, Dan, I'm seeing the exact same thing you
Yeah,
are.
exactly.
I know
Very
it's they changed the logo, right? So it looks like it just happened. I think
Yeah,
someone
because like
put
it doesn't even have the proper Colorado logo, and it's just got like the TML coding in it. So this
That's what
literally
I'm saying.
just
I
got
think it was
changed.
a mistake.
It's interesting. So yeah, there might be.
Oh yeah, I
mistake
think
on
it says
Sportsnet.
I'll
Maniff
follow
when you
that.
click on the article, but it
Yeah,
is Colorado.
Or
very
so
interesting.
he signed
Wow.
somewhere for $2.5 million over 3 years.
So if you click on the article, it says
Oh.
Maniff signs Blanatanev in the title. If in the article it says Colorado, signed by Colorado.
Okay, you know what though? Let's give the media a bit of slack here. They are working their butts off getting all this info out as
Well, of
quick as
course,
they
you're
are.
going to give them slack.
It's gonna be typos.
So what's
Calm
interesting-
down.
So what's interesting from Minnesota, talking about Marco Rossi, but they also have to sign Kaprizov next year, and he's making $9 million for this year, of course. But then you got Boldy
Lord, he's gonna
with
get paid.
$7 million signed long term. You have Joel Eriksson Ek for 5.25 long term. What does Kaprizov make next year? That's a year in
12.
advance, but it's an interesting conversation to have for
Oh,
Minnesota.
easy.
Oh,
Given
keep my eye on that.
given they're probably not going to re-sign Rossi, like it puts and Minnesota have 12 million in cap space, so they can go ahead and sign like Granlund even potentially this year.
Oh, hold on. Sorry, boys.
Interesting.
Breaking news in the Canadian Football League. Alexander Hollins has just been
Oh.
signed to the Montreal Alouettes.
By the way, it was Utah. They changed it.
Ooh.
Sportsnet messed it up.
Oh,
It is Utah.
But the Montreal Alouettes have just signed
I
Alexander
expect an
Hollins.
apology, Dan.
interesting.
Oh,
I don't know if you boys remember Alexander Hollins in BC. He had a really, really big year. Now, however, this means for any Austin Mack fans out there, I think Austin Mack is going to be on the injured list for at least 6 games now. Because I think you're bringing him in to replace. I'm sorry I always go back to CFL all the time. I'm just going through my social feeds to see what's going on in the world. This is reported directly from the Canadian Football League, so it's a good source. Alexander Hollins to the Montreal Alouettes. So that's a big signing
Jacob,
for Montreal.
well, Jacob,
I
I'm
believe
still
you
looking
have
at
it right here.
Sportsnet to see if there's any news about Giannis because there's the potential in the NBA, different league, but there's the potential that
So they
given
did
events
fix
that the
it.
Bucks
So
put out this
me
year,
and Adam
that
are right.
Giannis could be yeah, exactly. Good
Take
job,
that,
William.
self-proclaimed sports analyst. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
Now I'll
You
get
know
kicked
what?
out of the.
Genius.
Now I'll get kicked out of the room.
The genius and the dashing one.
But no,
Oh,
like
the
I'm
dashing
curious
one's
about
back.
Jonas Antetokounmpo in the NBA where he goes. 'Cause
Yeah.
Adam, you're hearing he could be moved within the next 24 hours.
Well, so because this morning Damian Lillard, who mind you just tore his Achilles tendon in the playoffs a couple weeks ago, he was waived this morning.
Oh.
Interesting enough, he was waived so they can acquire Miles Turner from Indiana, which is very interesting. But Giannis reportedly is not happy at the moment with that move, which makes sense. Giannis and Damian and Dame are good friends. Surprised by the move given Giannis wanted Dame and pushed for Milwaukee to get Dame.
Mhm.
So it becomes very interesting in that situation, given rumors were that the Raptors, who have had a long-standing interest in him, given Masai's is no longer with the team. I don't know how much more interest there will be there, but
I don't think there will be. 'Cause I
wanna
think Masai Ujiri was just
him up.
throwing sticks at the wall, hoping they would stick. And to the comments quickly, I do agree. I
Yeah.
think Alexander Hollins could have a big week his first week in for Montreal. So maybe we'll have to set that as a prop in the Streakers Island if he's playing this week.
That's right.
In our sports booth to be like, well, Alexander Hollins maybe get over 70 yards. So remember, if you want it, or 69 yards, because everyone says 69 is the best prop to set. So, but yeah, I could see Hollins having a big game as soon as he's back into the league. And signing so
So,
far
guys,
brought to you by the NHL Network for the sexy graphic.
Guys, look at who's
Yeah.
number 3 on that list. Tony D'Angelo. I didn't even notice Tony D'Angelo.
Yeah,
is
1
back
year,
now in the NHL.
1.75.
And he's been
Good signing,
balling.
yeah.
I'm still gonna call it out.
Yeah, but is it though? Because he's got an attitude problem.
He's got an attitude. Yeah, he's got major attitude issues. And
Divers
he's
have to do
he's-
something after
he's-
losing Dobson, right? It's a good gamble.
The
I think.
KHL
Dan,
takes
that is like
anybody.
saying because we lost Mitch Marner 102 points, I'm going to bring in Kyler Yamamoto and nothing else. There we go. It's fixed. They both play forward.
I'm not saying that, Jacob. I'm saying it's better than nothing.
Tony DeAngelo.
I'd
Tony
rather have
DeAngelo's
nothing.
good, but
I'd rather have nothing.
his play doesn't outweigh his attitude issues, and he's got
Exactly.
major
I'm
attitude issues.
I'm not gonna lie. Looking at these contracts, I still think the steal of the day right here is right here.
Yeah,
The
I agree
Bukestad?
with Lane. Yeah.
That's
I
the
just
contract
agree with
to
you.
me.
I say the deal of the day so far is Jake Allen at 1.8.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Best
Yeah.
goalie on the
That's
market.
interesting.
The most reliable goalie on the market. Because if he's only getting 1.8, what are you paying Samsonov? A ham sandwich?
I like Connor Brown at $3 million. I thought he was going to get more in $3.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So in the comments here, we have somebody who likes the Bukestad and the D'Angelo signing. I just don't like it because of the attitude. He's a good player. At least it's only
he's
1
also
year
been
if he
out there
continues to be a jerk.
And you look at
Yeah,
you look
Tony
at the
DeAngelo
Dvorak
was released
and
for
the
a reason
Stankoven. I can't believe
NHL.
Dvorak has even close to Stankoven.
Stankoven is so much better than Christian Dvorak.
I don't
Chazzy
think
hopefully
that
will
at
be
all.
joining us later today, and I can't wait to get his perspective on Christian
I
Dvorak
think these are
getting
just the deals, though.
5.4.
I don't think these are deals being
Insane.
ranked, though. I don't think these deals are ranked here. I think they're just like how they've.
Corey
No, they're
O'Grady,
out.
not. These are
deal.
just signings.
Yeah, I didn't think those were rankings because
Yeah, they're not ranking. There was a year. So years and average.
Yeah,
So it's not ranked like third signing. It means Demko got 3 years at 8.5.
I just
Connor
don't get why
Brown
Canadians
got
don't
6
like the
years at
Logan
6 million.
Stankoven signing.
Yeah.
I don't know why you don't
think,
like the Logan
guys,
Stankoven signing. I think that is such a good signing.
I think it's a great signing. I think it's just way too much money.
How is that too much money? So
6
Christian
million.
Dvorak just got 5.4.
That's way too much money too.
That's the market, Dan.
Why? Yeah, exactly.
If Christian
It's the
Dvorak is
market
worth
that's been set.
5.4, Stankoven's worth. Tell you one thing, I have an unpopular opinion here. Logan Stankoven is better than Brock Besser. That is a good signing.
Oh my gosh, you're nuts.
Brock Besser scored 40 once.
Stick over instead of done 0 times.
Because he's young.
Guys, I just saw this tweet that's very interesting from
I love
somebody
tweets.
I just don't think has something. Craig Budden just said on TSN on their signing show that Craig Budden thinks Bowen Byram is a $7+ million player worth giving up an unprotected first, second, and third for an offer sheet.
I
Craig
agree.
Budden
What?
has been wrong about a lot.
$7
But Craig
million?
Budden, though,
Okay, but if
7+
Evan Bouchard is
million.
worth 10,
Wow.
you got to look at the market, guys. If Evan
True.
Bouchard's worth 10 and a
I know
half,
that, but
Bowen
no,
Byram's
I know,
worth
but-
7.
Bowen Byram.
I would
You're
want
giving
to
up
stay open
those-
for about
okay, but it's
4.5
just
to
that.
5.
And you wouldn't have him.
I guess it depends on what team, on who's actually would give him the offer sheet or if he's traded, because there's still been no news
Right.
on if he's actually been traded. But I think it becomes very interesting to see if who signs him and how much cap space they really have and what they need. And like if they're really willing to give up those 3 picks or even more, because if he's like 8 to 9 plus, you're giving up more than just a first, second, and a third. You're giving up multiple picks. And it becomes interesting to see what happens. Like if a team goes ahead and gives him more than what they think their Buffalo are willing to give him, it gets very interesting, because then another team's just giving Buffalo more picks.
But I think
Like,
that's what I'm
and
saying. I think
Buffalo-
Buffalo's going to make some. And I wonder, and maybe you boys will think I'm crazy, but could the Toronto Maple Leafs could they be going for Tage Thompson, and that's why they're not doing anything else right now?
I'm not sure.
Ooh,
wanna-
that could be interesting.
Just want to share this
That
tweet
could
from
be
Mark
interesting.
Masters about Nicholas Waugh. Initially
Uh-oh.
shocked by the trade, but the more he thinks about it, he likes to defend. This was his quote: "I want to be a part of a team that's winning. Watching the playoffs, I think for the Panthers, their biggest challenge was the Leafs. I think this group is ready to win right now. So there's a guy who wants to come and win. There you go.
You know what though? I was having
love
the
that
exact
attitude.
same conversation with the Fam Jam about the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I still feel they were the closest team to beat the Panthers. I don't feel the Oilers were close.
No.
I can't
No,
believe
the
I'm
Oilers
saying
are-
it. Lane, you were 1,000% right. When they lost game 2, the series was over.
100%.
Yeah, I don't know how you predicted that, but you did.
Because he's
Because
that
I know
gassy.
because I know the Leafs and they're a bunch of
That series was over before it
because
started.
they have a
That series
bad
was over before it started.
And
was
also,
over
fun
420.
fact.
in my opinion.
Also, fun fact: Nicholas Waugh had as many goals in the playoffs as Mitch Marner in 2 less games and averaging 10 minutes less per game.
Now, mind you,
Yeah.
Mitch Marner's not a
That's
goal
insane.
scorer. He's a
I'm just saying,
playmaker.
yeah, but still.
Dan, what are you looking at? I'm
But
just
still, that's
curious.
crazy.
Ooh, that's a good
I'm looking
signing.
at the sky.
I like this one.
Well,
Oh,
what is it?
I'm
very
going to post
interesting.
it. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to post it in the comments. I like this.
Ooh,
Jacob Bernard Docker going to the
Oh,
Red Wings
wow.
for $875K. That's a good signing.
Oh,
Who's
Adam, you're gonna
he?
hear all about that from Max
He
tomorrow.
plays on
I know I
Ottawa.
will.
He's a pretty reliable defenseman. I wouldn't say he's pretty good.
I'm gonna hear
How
more
are we
about the
feeling
Gibson
about
deal
Detroit
than
right
the-
now? Actually, they just brought in John Gibson.
Patrick Kane stayed.
I want to look at
Jane stayed.
Kane signing too much money. I thought Kane was going to go to Winnipeg.
It's Patrick Kane. You're paying him whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The Riddick deal is worth
Patrick-
$1 million. By the way,
Oh,
$1
nice.
million over 1 year.
I like
That's
JVD.
a really good signing, actually. I think for the Islanders, just to bring in. But now it means because Sorokin's still under contract. Oh, the Oilers get Sorokin. I don't know how you afford it, but they should get him.
I'll show his stats. Like
The Columbus Blue Jackets
still has
also have
plenty of
signed
picks.
Owen Slinger to a 1 year, 2-way contract. Montreal Canadiens have signed Alex Bazell and Nate Clement to 2-way contracts as well. So it looks like Montreal is trying to fill up their AHL roster a bit.
Cool.
it's only 25.
The Ottawa Senators have also agreed at a 1 year deal with Oli Lexell on a one-way, 2-way 1 year contract.
Oh, Red Wings made another signing.
Oh.
Ian Mitchell.
I'm assuming.
And the Vegas
Detroit's
Golden
letting,
Knights have signed Dylan Clogan to a 1 year deal worth $775. I'm just catching up here on X or Twitter, whatever the heck you want to call it. I still prefer the name Twitter over X. When I say I follow you on X, it just sounds like I'm stalking someone I used to date. Columbus Blue Jackets have signed defenseman Christian Jarl to a 1 year, 2-way contract. Yeah, so we're seeing now, at the beginning it was all the top guns. Now it's all AHL. When are we going to get those second to third line guys coming through?
I think it's going to be tomorrow potentially. Because Ehlers and Granlund definitely not signing today. Sean Curley just signed with Boston
Yeah, I've seen that.
to a 2 year, 1.85.
But we're
Correlli,
looking now
sorry,
a
yes,
lot of
thank you,
like
Dan,
there's
thank
it's a lot of just good players left. Like we have Dmitry Orlov, really good defenseman, but maybe not a tier 1, but a tier 2. Nate Schmidt, Florida. It looks like Nate Schmidt's probably going to be the odd man out in Florida, I would say.
So, guys, I just saw this, and it's not from a reliable source, but it is a very interesting deal. Is some guy said he's hearing that it's going to be Bowen Byram to St. Louis. So the full trade details is Byram, Oslin, Rosen, and a 2026 second to St. Louis for Jordan Kyrou and Colton Paranka.
I don't think so.
Interesting trade.
Nah,
I don't think it's real.
That's the
But it
weird
is a
thing
very
that I saw last
trade.
night that I couldn't find.
Yeah,
Why?
that's bad for St. Louis in general. That's so bad for St. Louis. Byram's the only.
I get so scared reading these Twitter
trades.
trades because then I did that on one of our pre-record. I did it on a pre-record,
Which is
and then
why
5
I
minutes
said-
it wasn't even close. I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to stick with what
Which is
Friedman
why-
says.
Yeah, which is why I said that it's not from a reliable source, but it is
I
an
know.
interesting.
These people
Look
make
of the
up
deal
things
that
just to
could be
say
done.
things, you know?
Yeah,
But it's
people want
also just
clickbait,
bad
right?
in
Yeah.
general. That's just bad for St. Louis in general. 'cause
You
giving up
get
two
baited
great
to
players-
thinking it's real. Like, and sometimes you get these people that put up verified, and they'll say, "Oh, I'm verified." And you're like, "Oh, that doesn't mean anything. You can pay for that now."
Oh, yeah.
Whoa,
Lane, you've been signed.
I've been
Whoa.
signed.
Lane Pedersen has been signed a 1 year deal to the Philadelphia Flyers.
Let's go.
Congrats, Lane.
The dashing one is in the NHL, guys. The
should
dashing
be.
one.
Dan's crying about it.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
funny.
exactly.
JVR going to Detroit. Interesting.
Wow.
JVR.
Jibber.
Oh, I was hoping JVR was going to go back to Toronto.
Why do you, Dan? Why do you want the Leafs to literally just be the Leafs from 2010?
I want the Leafs to do
He's
something.
They've already
Dude,
everyone.
They've done a
They've
lot of
done a
things,
lot.
Dan.
done a lot.
done a
And
lot.
Yeah, but not any better.
Yeah, well,
Dan,
no, but guys,
Dan-
you know,
they may not be better, but right.
okay. And for anyone who thinks, I'm curious here. Will the Leafs put up? I say the Leafs put up less points this season than last season. but they are a better
Yeah,
playoff team.
They're definitely a better playoff team. I think now losing Marner is difficult, but it's
what makes
also,
them a better playoff team, though?
They're now
They're
more
tougher.
about depth.
Okay, we got Nicholas
it's
Waugh.
That's
fine.
So, Dan, I want to address some things you said last night because I couldn't address them in all of my damn comments I was trying to make. But it was like, I think what's interesting for the Leafs this year is that losing Marner is like a lot, but I think there's different things. There's different ways of being tough than just fighting. And I think
I get
like
that.
I think the Leafs are tougher than they were last year. But I think we were tough last year, but it's a different type of toughness than everybody wants the Leafs to be. Fighting is only good when you need to fight, but it's blocking shots, it's hits, it's all of this different stuff, and being mentally tough is also a big thing. And I think
for sure.
Matsielli is not the biggest guy in the world, but it's a good signing in terms of playmaking ability. I think Austin Matthews will drive his line perfectly fine. And I think the Leafs will be perfectly fine. We'll put up less points, but that's not as big of a deal because I think Florida will be good, but it's how long Florida can continue to be good as they are, given how many great players they have. How long can Florida sustain the way that they play?
Well, Brad Marchand play that well.
It will be interesting to see how long they can keep being as good as they are given the way that they play. I think will be interesting. I think I was wrong about Boston. I was wrong about them being as good for as long as they were. But I do think eventually the way that they play will catch up to Florida. I don't know when, but it is potential to happen this year. Nate Schmidt just signed a 3-year deal with Utah.
I was just about to say
Utah
that.
confirmed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were? Oh, that's funny.
We're also hearing Pontus Holmberg is weighing his options, wasn't qualified by Toronto, making him a UFA, but the Leafs still remain in the mix.
I think Pontus Holmberg is interesting. I saw a good analysis of Pontus. He's very good in contact and in tight spaces, but he's awful in open ice, and he can't finish. He can't score.
Right. Yeah.
He scores.
It depends how cheap you can get him.
Either in the lineup. Yeah, if you can get him cheap, then it's decent. But
I really like that Nate Schmidt deal, though.
Cheap. Yeah, 3 years is interesting, though. I don't know how old he is, but it is very interesting.
He's old enough to know better.
Nate Smith's like what, 33, 34?
I believe so.
I think
where he signed with Detroit,
Utah.
Nate
Schmidt is 33,
busy today.
Deal puts him at 36. That's nothing.
He's it's for $3.5 million annually.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that.
3.5. Decent. He was good in the playoffs for.
I would take him over like a Cody Ceci.
Yeah, for sure.
Projected to get 3.6. Or Brent. Now Brent Burns is still my big question mark. Who's willing to give him 5 to take a gamble?
I would.
He's old.
He's 40.
I've seen a lot of people say I've seen a lot of people say the Leafs should, but I'm
why?
He's 40 years.
There was only one defenseman I said the Leafs should break up the defensive core to get, and Florida kept him, and that's Aaron Ekblad. Because Aaron Ekblad makes you better. Brent Burns is no better than Brent Burns is no better than anyone else they have. For the money.
Oh my God, Vladislav Gavrikov has a full no move in his 5-year deal.
Wow.
The Rangers gave a full no move clause in his.
Well, because they'll just trick him to being traded.
I really like that Nate Smith contract. Like, call me crazy. I think Utah's going to be a better team. I like what Detroit is doing as well this offseason, winning in like Gibson, getting JVR. I think Detroit's going to be a better team too.
I'll say this. I think in my opinion, I think Utah are very sneakily one of the best young teams in the NHL because they're very young.
Bubble team.
They got Tisha Ginla still needs to come. Like he hasn't even played an NHL game. They got
he's gonna be a heck of a player.
They got a lot of good young players. I think San Jose will only continue to improve because they got a good young core there with Celebrity, Smith, Michael Lisa. They got good young defensemen too. I think so. San Jose, Chicago. I think drafting. Oh my God, what was his name again? Why do I keep forgetting names? Yes, the guy they picked third. The Swedish.
I think Chicago and Anaheim
Chicago
teams
will be very
avoid about.
interesting. Chicago will be
I don't
very
know what to make of
interesting.
Chicago.
I think they're like got a good future. I think it'll all be about what do you do with in terms of like with Connor Bedard, since Connor Bedard and the guy they picked. Why do I keep forgetting his name? The guy that they picked this year. Why do I keep forgetting his name now?
Oh, Misa.
No, they didn't pick Misa because San Jose picked Misa. They picked the other guy.
Someone else.
Yes, I'm trying to remember his name now. I'm trying to find his name.
They took Fondell.
Yes, Fondell. Like, because they're both centers. Do you move Bedard back to the wing because he's kind of struggling in the faceoff dot?
You could.
I think Frondell and Bedard will work together. I think that would be great for them. They got a good young core going there. It'd be interesting to see, do they move Tyler Bertuzzi or do they keep Bertuzzi around?
Whoa, Nate
I wonder
Schmidt.
if the Leafs would go after Tyler Bertuzzi. That's what I've been kind of toying with that idea.
I think the Leafs,
crazy?
yeah.
So,
Have I missed anything crazy, boys?
No, not really.
Nate Schmidt signed to Utah. Also, the Boston Bruins have signed Michael Messinov to a 2-year contract. And we were talking a little about Pontus Holmberg Lane. Now he's now officially a UFA because the Leafs didn't make him a qualifying offer. Red Wings brought in JVR. I can't remember if you were in the room for that.
Yeah, I was there.
You were okay. Then no, you're good, bro.
All right, sorry about that.
Couple things going on.
Nothing crazy. Like I said, I think now's the time where we're seeing more of the role players come in.
But these are looking forward to this year to Stanley Cup and how his role players full flying made such a huge difference against Toronto. It's these role players, these $2 million contracts like the Buskov contract, Lane and I like for St. Louis. These are the contracts that make the difference of winning a cup and not winning a cup. So even though these are little contracts for today, really big difference coming May playoff time,
Now, I wanted to quickly talk to you guys about this. We have a bit of a pause right now in the free agent frenzy. Toronto Blue Jays are playing the New York Yankees today.
Yeah.
Yes, they won last night.
Big game. They won last night. What are we thinking here for the Jays playing the Yankees today? Do we think the Yankees are going to bounce back, or do we think the Jays can take a 2-0 series lead?
What time's that game at? 4:00?
3:07. On the freaking nose. If it's 3:08, you're late.
It's 3:07. It's 3:07.
That's what I said.
I think the Jays are going to take this one.
I thought you said 7. That's what I heard. I was so confused for a second.
No.
I'm hard of hearing today. Oh my God.
Oh, so you're like me then. I'm hard of hearing every day.
Yeah.
Oh, Panthers have got Jeff Petrie.
Oh.
Wow. I didn't expect that.
See that? Where did Jeff Oh my gosh. JVR only signed for $1 million.
Dan, that's always worth.
Not surprised. He's old.
He got like 30 points last year.
He's old.
Good signing blow.
That's a good signing, but yeah, I'm not shocked.
Oh, I would have got more on that.
But I am curious to see how the Toronto Blue Jays do. Because it was Scherzer who pitched yesterday, right, Lane?
5, yeah, he went 5 innings. He got pulled to the 5th inning, but they said based off his injury that he was played well.
Yeah, you know what, Scherzer, 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 7 strikeouts. So it's Barrios today, right? Gosman, okay.
And Bichette's not in the starting lineup. I saw that earlier.
Oh, that's tough losing Bichette. But I do agree in the comments here. I think the Jays are starting to – if they win this series, I'll start to believe the Jays hype.
98 wins.
I'm not going to believe that. But I hope they get 97 just so I can make fun of Dan.
This is a good signing we just got here.
What's the signing, Lane?
I'm going to post it. Not a bad defenseman. Why would I waste my lovely auction? I love it so much. I can't waste it. But
I just saw it. It just came up on my Twitter now.
He's a good player.
Get to your deal.
Yeah. He's a good depth defenseman.
We're
Yeah,
seeing all
yeah.
the depth
I don't think
pieces
he's any-
now.
I don't think he's anything more, but he is a good depth guy.
No, he's very good. I like him. He's a good player.
Why is Jeff
Wait,
Petrie trending on Twitter?
He just got signed.
Because he's Jeff freaking Petrie. I said, I have to like. I think Jeff Petrie is interesting because I've heard all from Max this year that Jeff Petrie is absolutely garbage, and that Detroit, he regrets Detroit signing him, and I think he'll be glad that they did not re-sign Jeff Petrie. But I will hear about John Gibson a lot. Jacob. I will hear a lot about John Gibson tomorrow.
And Patty Kane staying.
Kind of excited about, and Patty Kane staying because Patty Kane is still a Red Wing.
But no, it's
Jeff Petrie signed Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good. That's a
nice seventh defenseman.
No, 100%.
Oh, that's great.
Very-
I guess you're kind of with losing Nate Schmidt. You want to bring another. You want to bring another.
And how much you sign him for? 2.5.
For Schmidt, I'm not sure.
No, Jeff Petrie. Smith got 3.5.
700K. 700K.
Yeah, I didn't see what
Jeff
he signed
Petrie?
for.
Wow.
He signed for less than
Interesting.
Interesting factoid.
Oh.
that. Interesting.
But no, we're seeing a lot of. Interesting
Very
things going
interesting,
around.
I wonder what more is going to happen.
I'm kind
Well,
of
it's
just
still the
looking.
big names on the board. You look at like Michael
Oh,
Graham.
Alex Steves has just signed with the Boston Bruins, so he is no longer part of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no,
That's
Okay.
disappointing. I really like him.
Yeah.
This is being
How much
reported
is
by
he
signing
CML
Boston?
Updates, who's very, very reliable for Toronto Maple Leaf news.
How much did he sign in Boston for?
Doesn't say yet.
I think
He's
the
a
Leafs
Marley
have given more NHL time. And we went to a couple Maury games
I will-
there, and
The
he's a good
fans,
player.
at least on TML, are very angry. If they keep Holmberg over him, that's pathetic. Wow, Toronto Maple Leafs are a lot worse team now than they were yesterday, going downhill instead of up.
But losing
Now people are
Steves,
happy for him, saying
That's
nice to see
an
find a
overreaction.
permanent home. But
That's an
I agree with one
overreaction.
comment here saying the Leafs may regret this one.
Oh, I think so.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like the Leafs aren't worse because Alex Steves was barely playing in the NHL. We're not
Yeah, but he
worse
was
'cause
really
we lost
good in
Alex.
the AHL.
Yeah,
Now,
but
didn't
like,
they give him a?
but the pocket
They
of the
didn't give
Leafs
him an
team worse, not
RFA.
the Marlies.
Can they match it? I thought he was
They
RFA,
could.
wasn't
I
he?
think he's RFA.
They didn't offer him a
I think he's
contract.
RFA.
They didn't
So they
offer him
could
a
match
contract.
it.
they
They want-
didn't.
So they have 5 days to match
I
it if they
see.
want to, don't they?
No, because they didn't offer him
No,
one. They
because
offered one
yeah.
to
They didn't
Roman
give,
Hovinen, Matthew Nyes, which is done, Nick Robertson, Tipo Niemelin, William Vinavlu, and Dennis Hildeby, leading Holmberg, Mikko Kakkonen,
Hildeby.
Reese Johnson, and Zurich Pierre will become unrestricted free agents. And Alex Steves was an unrestricted free agent to begin with.
Oh,
Wow.
Cody CC in LA.
Why would
eh?
you pay him $4.5 million? He's
I don't know
he's
about-
like Dion
Ooh,
Phaneuf, but he can't hit. That's a terrible contract.
I don't
Oh,
like that.
boy.
Oh,
I
I
guess
don't like-
because they lost that
Don't
that
care.
I don't like
lost
that
that
one.
guy.
I don't like this.
Stupid.
that's
Stupid.
crazy.
Why not? If I'm going to take a risk on a defenseman and overpay a little bit, I would rather them see it take a risk on Brent Burns.
because they
Yeah.
lost Grabby or whatever,
I don't
right?
care. Terrible signing.
Yeah.
That's awful.
I'm so disgusted.
I'm leaving.
Jacob, I'm disgusted. Disgusted.
We should all
Oh my
leave.
God.
Let's just all just not come back.
Welcome back.
Goodbye.
Cody's that's a bad signing.
That's
And that is
brutal.
one thing I will say if you're a Leaf fan right now. You might be upset they haven't done much, but when I'm seeing what some of the players are going for, I'm kind of happy the Leafs haven't done much.
It's weird because you look at what Nashville. I'm always of the opinion that like acquiring these big free agents, like let's be honest, who's really acquired a big free agent and won a Stanley Cup? Like when you really think about it,
A lot.
That's a good
no,
point.
not really.
That's a
It's
good-
No,
mostly
Dan, actually not really.
you
You
win.
just rebuild your team
a
through
lot
trades
of them
and
guys have
draft.
done
Free agency never
little
really works out. I'm being brutally honest.
That's a
It
good
never
point.
really works
I
out.
didn't- That's a good point.
Look what Nashville did. They got Stamkos. They got this guy. They got the moon, the sun, the stars. Fail. Like it's
They
just
were
like
all worse.
You know what,
than
too?
I
You
thought
can make
they
the
would.
same argument in the Canadian Football League. Look at Edmonton tried to rebuild their whole defense over the last 2 years in free agency. And the Elks defense, again, has been terrible.
Is this?
I like
It's tough
Cody
to
Ceci.
rebuild a whole team or a whole group in free agency. I think you need to do it over a few years.
Share this here.
I thought Cody Ceci was going to get about 2.5, put in perspective.
I thought 3 max.
Yeah, like I'm surprised
I didn't even think
4.5.
of CC.
You look at Nate Smith, right? I think Nate Smith is better. I think even taking the gamble on Jeffrey Petrie, not a terrible idea.
Yeah. So his projected
Ryan-
cap is a 3 point. So it says here that this is the projected cap. They said he should be making 3.5, but for 2 years. But instead, he's making the actual contract is 4 years, 4.5 million. It puts him in that kind of Jan Ruda, Hamonic, Labushkin, Hall as a comparable cap hit. I don't know. I don't know
I'd
if I
rather
like
have
this.
Labushkin than Cody Ceci, I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
Like,
literally.
have
I
you
would
guys
too.
You look at his like
Brian
he's not like you said he
Dunn-
can't hit. His D impact is -%. Not for defensively,
Kings
not
just added another
physicality.
defenseman.
Who did?
They just added Brian Dumlin. The Kings, Brian Dumlin for Dumlin for
Dumoulin.
3 years. Yeah, for
Mm.
$4 million for 3 years.
That's not a bad signing.
That's not bad.
Interesting. Well, with the CC signing, that's also very interesting.
Well, that's
They
like
just added
8
2 more
million
defensemen.
on. That's like 8 million on bottom defenseman. That's crazy.
I really like that
Yeah.
Nate Smith signing from Utah. That's a
I
great
wonder
So
if
do
deal.
I.
they're worried about. I wonder if they're worried about Drew Doughty potentially getting hurt again, and they're just adding more depth.
No,
in
because they
case.
just lost Guardi to the Rangers, right? I would have given him
Yeah.
7 over CC 4.5. That's just me.
Yeah, but he might not
Whoa.
have wanted to stay. That's the thing. He might not want to have wanted to stay.
Well, quite possibly, yeah.
Faravari
Which
got
is why
signed
with-
for 6 years.
Who?
Faravari.
Oh wow!
I want to make sure.
I did not see that.
I gotta look
Very
that up.
interesting.
I want to make.
You
sure.
guys see
It's
Nick
like
Kyrgios
19
is saying the
minutes.
Leafs are one of 2 teams going in on Nazem Kadri in a trade with Calgary.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Let's go. I could see if they're gonna move Easton Cowan. I wouldn't be mad if they moved him for Naz.
Well, that's
Because-
I'll be
Yeah.
honest. I think it's the only player I'd be willing to do it for.
Yeah.
Easton Cowan is not a guarantee in the NHL, given his height, given
No.
his size. I
Yeah.
know he's very feisty, but
What?
I feel like Nazem Kadri,
This is
you know
awful.
who Nazem Kadri is. You know what kind of player Nazem Kadri is, and you know what to expect out of Naz. That I think
Exactly.
it could be interesting. It would suck to lose Easton Cowan, given you don't really know what he could be in the NHL. And given you have to kind of play him in the NHL next year because he's not eligible to play in the AHL, I don't think.
This is a
Like it puts you in a
horrible
weird
deal.
situation. What's the
Jake,
What's the
deal?
horrible deal? Lane?
Dan, I need Mr. Calculator. What's that a year?
What? Well, I can't see. What are we talking about?
So I'll post it. So I just want to make sure because I couldn't believe this is real. But so yeah, Faravari got signed to 6-year, $42 million.
It's
How much is
42
that?
million. Oh, never mind.
642
Sorry.
million. This is what?
No, $42 million over 6 years.
Oh,
Oh, so what? 7 mil?
hi. Anton Forsberg has
That's-
been signed by the LA Kings. And I'm so mad at Edmonton. Okay?
Of
2
course
year,
they did it.
2.25.
Are they never
What are
gonna
the
get goalies?
Oilers doing?
Sleeping?
I love that LA
Anton
signed all
Forsberg
of-
is a good goalie.
and they've already stole. They already stole Perry from Edmonton. So Edmonton's getting robbed right now by the team
No,
they
but
beat
what I
for
don't
3
get is
straight
here. I
years.
think Anton Forsberg was the best goalie left on the market. 2 years at
Well, yeah.
2.25. I think it's a
James
steal.
Weimer.
Danny's better
So
than
I
James
totally
Reimer.
do think. So Jacob, I'm very worried now that it's either going to be Reimer or it's going to be Carter Hart for the
I'm going
Oilers.
to say this. I'm
Which-
worried they're just going to run with Skinner and
Not
Pickard.
good.
Yeah,
Dang.
it's 6 million, Lane.
I
They
don't like
shouldn't do
that.
Dan Bowman's an
That's a
idiot.
bad
I
idea.
said he
Yeah,
should have been
That's a
fired
bad-
right at
bad
the end of the
signing.
season when he had one job
And
in the
I
off to go get a goalie, and they didn't do it. Instead, they got Trent Frederick and Jake Wallman, who realistically didn't make a difference.
I'm
you
with
went-
you,
you
Lane. That's a
actually had- you
really
actually had
bad
worse result.
signing.
Only an hour and a half left today before the deadline is over for today.
What is?
Very interesting.
NHL free agency, only have an hour and a half remaining, I think, until tomorrow. Which is
Oh,
weird.
No,
when
can't
does it
they?
reopen tomorrow?
They can still negotiate like all day long, can't they?
Yeah, they can.
I don't know if you
Yeah,
can sign deals
They
though.
can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
can.
can.
Oh,
It says that's when the
I just think
TSN
that-
show ends.
That's just when TSN people
TSN
finally go to
shows-
bed.
okay. That's I was confused.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
No. Look, no, the signing will be
deadline,
happening
no.
like till like probably 11 o'clock tonight.
I just can't
Yeah.
believe Anton Forsberg went that cheap, and the Edmonton Oilers didn't go get him.
How much was
That's
it?
a steal.
2.25 over a year over 2 years.
Dan, I got something you're gonna like.
What?
I'll share the screen. Dan's gonna like this. Randy Moss is coming back.
Yeah, boy.
I just saw
No,
that.
but that's actually good
I
to
was
know
just
he's healthy
say
again.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
I like
I
Randy
just saw
Moss.
that tweet myself.
Yeah, good for him. I mean,
Yeah,
whoa,
why not?
whoa, language. Whoa, didn't want to see
We
that.
apologize
Who
for
said what?
swearing on the screen.
Sorry, I
What?
tried to get it
Who
off
swore?
quickly. I was just trying to share the Randy Moss thing.
I didn't see
Oh.
anything.
We
Oh, I
can't
got it
control
off.
Twitter, unfortunately. Only Elon can do
That's a
that.
good point. That's-
So just
that's a good
Anton
point, Jacob.
Forsberg. Okay, boys, I know you guys might think I'm crazy, but Anton Forsberg in 30 games this year had a 2.72
You
goals
said it,
against
Jacob,
average,
I
a
did it.
901 save percentage, and 3 shutouts.
No, I think you're honest talking about Anton Forsberg.
I don't know. That is the type of numbers. If you had move on from Pickard or move on from Skinner and go with Forsberg and one of those guys, Edmonton's got an okay tandem again.
Yeah, totally.
So actually, here's another fun fact then. Forsberg is less than Skinner.
Yeah. Why
Right?
I
not
don't
go
get this.
Forsberg and Skinner? I mean,
don't get
Forsberg
this
and
at all.
Pickett.
What was the money, Jacob, on the deal?
2.25
I
a
didn't hear
year
what
over
you
2
said.
years.
Oh,
2.25.
wow.
That's
Gotta
a
do-
good deal. That's a steal.
I got news.
What?
Yeah.
Jonathan
You may
Drouin
share.
is now an island boy. He's going to be sitting on the
What is
island
going on?
boy, going to the island boys.
So the Island
I never
boys-
liked the job in Drew in.
I think that's a
2-year
good signing for the
contract.
Islanders, though.
Two
How
much
years.
Depending on
money?
what it is.
It doesn't say.
The Islanders are an interesting team for next year, in my eyes at least, because you still have Sorokin as your goalie, and it's
I'll see if I get the money
how
soon.
bad will they really be again this year with Sorokin in that? Like how bad can they really be?
You know, you bring in
Like-
Matthew Schaefer, now you got Jonathan Drouin, you still got Barzell
Yeah.
there, you still have a team. And the good thing was they were a team that was like kind of on the other end. Like, yeah, they got the first pick of the draft, but where they were positioned, they actually weren't a bottom end team that needs to rebuild. They were just kind of missing a few pieces to get them in the playoffs. Now you get Matthew Schaefer, who's a first overall pick for a big defenseman. Now you're bringing in some guys that can help. This team could still, like you said, Adam, this could still be a good team.
I have a question for you guys because I have my
Let me
own
ask you a
opinion on this, of course.
Oh, I
And
don't want
I
to ask you your question now.
You guys, would you guys have Matthew Schaefer play in the NHL for more than 9 games next year, or were you?
No.
In my opinion, he should be back in the CHL.
Yeah.
If you do the 9 games, that's fair enough. But I think he has to go back to the CHL.
I would
don't
play it
think
in the
he's ready.
NHL.
Depends
No,
on
I
what he
wouldn't.
looks like.
Well,
Like, I mean, if he's tearing it up in 9 games,
Yeah.
then sure.
Would you? Yeah, but it's like I still go back to oh my god, why do I keep forgetting his name? Shane Wright. About what happened with Shane Wright. Was
Yeah.
that he was not ready. He was not ready, and his development is going a lot slower. Has gone a lot slower than it should have, and I think there's mistakes made in his development. And I think you can't make the same mistake with Schaefer, given Schaefer was out for most of last year, had COVID to deal with at one point. Like, I just don't think,
I want
He's
him to
had
play a
enough
full
time.
year again in the CHL.
yeah.
Go to the
'Cause I
World
think
Juniors
Michael
again,
Neeson's
get a
go
full
back, too.
tournament, get that experience.
Yeah, because I
Then
think
come to the
Nissa's going back because I think San Jose will do what they did with Will Smith when they allowed Will Smith to stay in college for the year, for an extra year. I think they'll do the same with Misa. They'll send Misa down, and I think that's the best think you could do at this point.
So I think
I have a prediction about Jonathan Drouin. I think he's going to get about $4.5 million in the Islanders.
so. Let's take a quick look here at all the teams, just to got all the teams and what they've got. So just for everyone who's just tuning in, these are the players that have been signed or traded to the teams. So far, the Boston Bruins have picked up Sean Corrali on a 2-year contract, Jeannot on a 5-year contract, and Victor Arvidsson from the Oilers. I don't think that's bad. Buffalo Sabres have gotten Gertson, Isima, and Ryan Johnson, kind of some depth guys. Calgary just got Hanley. Carolina has picked off Mitikov and Stankoven. Chicago has just gotten Sam Lafferty from a trade from Buffalo.
Colorado here before.
Colorado's just picked up some depth pieces and Parker Kelly, so not much there. Columbus Blue Jackets have just picked up Jaros and Sillinger, just signing their own. Got one of a UFA, so 2 little small.
Well, I was close. $4 million for Drouin. I guess 4.5.
Wow.
So I was very close.
Wow.
And then
Almost
Dallas,
like on a calculator.
Dallas has signed Colin Blackwell, so they keep it him.
Yeah, I
there.
saw that. It's a nice signing with Dallas.
Detroit's picked up Mitchell, Dirk, Bernard Docker, and Riemsdyk. And then Florida's been kind of busy, obviously, today with Tarasov, Petrie, Asplund. That's a good player. And then Thomas Nosek again. And now here's LA. They've been really busy today.
I'm still so mad about Edmonton right now.
Anton Forsberg. They got Brian Dumoulin. They got Cody Ceci. They got Corey Perry. You know what I mean? So this has been this team's been really busy today.
LA, in my opinion, has been one of the better teams in free agency today. They've done very well.
Yeah.
Then Montreal has picked up
not overpaying anyone either.
Bazzelli, Kakinen, Klerman, Blaze, and Bolduc. So just some kind of depth pieces there. The Nashville Predators have picked up Nick Persipix on that cheap deal. The Devils have gotten Jake Allen back and Connor
Dallas
Brown.
Stars have just re-signed Fasca to a 3-year deal worth $2 million.
Oh.
Islanders have also been a busy. Islanders has also been a busy team picking up Rittich, Bear, Jonathan Drouin, and Tony Dean. I like these moves.
I don't like the D'Angelo one still.
It's not bad.
Well, I remember Ethan Bear. He was good in the playoffs. That was a couple of years ago. That was a big deal. That's what I was talking about. 7 years.
The no move, though, bugs me about that one.
And the Senators haven't really done much today, just getting like Sell. I don't like this deal, but
No.
Flyers have been kind of busy picking up Dvorak for that 1 year. Vladar's good backup. Gilbert, Lane, that's me. Noah Ulson.
I wonder who Calgary gets sent for their new backup.
I know, right? I know. Maybe you get what's that guy? The Florida guy.
Vanchek.
Yeah, why not?
Whoa. Dan might be happy about this. Could the Leafs be offering up Joseph Woll for Nazem Kadri and bringing him to be up to the NHL?
Maybe.
Oh, maybe.
I don't think the Helga Beast is ready for the NHL long term. For a full season, I just don't think he's ready yet.
Defense.
Unless they're confident enough in Matt Murray and bring him back again.
Yeah.
Yes, the Murdoch.
Sharks
have
Murdoch.
Gotta love the
Kraken
Murdoch.
picked up Lindgren. So that's a good signing today. And then the Blues have been kind of busy getting Logan Mailloux out of Montreal, Loof and Bustad.
I don't know why Montreal drafted that Mailloux in the first place.
I mean, okay.
Because there's a lot of drama behind him.
Okay, but I'll kind of think what I think, but I'll give my opinion. I said I hope I don't get canceled. I know what he did was really bad. I'm not denying what he did was a terrible thing.
Who?
But Logan Mailloux. But the thing
what did he do?
He apologized for it, and he's tried to make amends. He's made amends.
Yeah,
well.
I just mean at the time though it was a weird draft pick, but it is what it is.
Exactly.
PG, what he did was he really bullied. He was very mean to this one kid and really heavily was a really bad bully in high school and wasn't very nice to this one kid. But I mean, upon reflection, this is also he was a high school student. And, once he kind of matured a bit, he realized what he did, and he went to the family, and he went to the family of the kid and said, you know what, I'm a bad person, and I don't want to be this guy. and he really tried to
I don't
repair
think
the
that's Logan
relationship.
Malou.
Yeah,
I don't think he did that. That was somebody else.
No, I'm pretty sure he went.
I don't think that's
he
what he did.
apologized. I thought he did, didn't he?
I don't think but I don't think that's what he did. No, he was the one who took secret pictures of a young woman while he was in Sweden.
Who's the one that did the
Bayou.
bullying then?
I don't know what you're
another
talking
guy,
about,
but
to be honest with you.
He was drafted by Boston, and then Boston dropped him. I don't remember the name of him, but Logan Bayou.
NBA news.
What's up?
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander agrees to a 4-year, $285 million supermax contract. He is now the highest paid player in NBA history.
Fully deserved contract.
My bad.
Crazy, a lot of money, but it's fully deserved given he just won MVP and all of this. And he was great. He won a chip.
LA signs Brian Dumoulin. I guess we know that already.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought so. I just want to triple check. So LA lost that big defenseman, replaced him with Dumoulin and Cody Ceci. I think that's stupid.
My bad. I had the stories mixed up. My bad.
You're good.
Sorry.
It's okay, bud.
Sorry.
Oh no, it's all good. Yeah. I was confused for a second because I'm like, did he do that or that was? I think
you're right, Adam. I think that
more
was
basketball news. Toronto Raptors have signed Jakob Poeltl to a 4-year, $104 million extension.
Wow.
Oh, that's good.
Ooh. Panthers just got a big.
Where did he play before?
He played with the Raptors. The Raptors.
Yo, where did he play before?
Poeltl was the Raptors, and he went away again, and they got him back.
Didn't he come in during the
Spurs?
Yeah, during the Kawhi trade.
He went into the Kawhi deal. Yeah, it was late.
But they got him back.
It was Mitchell Miller. Yeah, they did. They re-signed him like a couple of years ago. It was Mitchell Miller was the one who bullied that kid.
Oh, right. My bad.
Yeah, and he never apologized for it. Apparently,
that's
either.
True.
That's what the family said at least.
True. I got it mixed up. I thought that he was the bully. My bad.
Oh, good.
No, yeah, no.
I forgot.
I remember Mitchell.
You're
Miller
right.
was like
You're right,
very
Adam. Now that you correct me, you're right.
I think the Yotes drafted him originally, and then Boston drafted him. And then Boston signed him or something, and then they released him. Like it was a very weird situation with that kid. But it was very obvious he wasn't very he didn't feel bad about it at all.
No, but I remember Logan Mailloux apologized, right? Logan Mailloux did apologize for what he did, though, right?
The reason he was drafted and the reason he was allowed to play again was because he apologized to the girl, and he's done a very good job of making amends and learning about what he did was bad, and he's done a very good job. I know he had done some things to learn from his mistakes, and he apologized to the young lady, of course, and that's the reason he's playing still, and that's why he's.
I just had my stories mixed up, but I had the right idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm glad he's done a good job of making amends, though. That's what I'm glad about it.
No way, no one's
getting paid. Are we seeing anyone get paid more than Marner today?
No.
Not today, unless it's an extension. I don't think
remember though, I wonder if we're thinking about the Connor McDavid. He can resign as of today.
Right.
Yeah, I
don't think they want to lock this down as soon as physically possible.
I don't think he'll do it today. So.
Why not?
He may do it this summer, but I don't know because they just started talking.
Get it done like Larry the Cable Guy.
That's your go-to go-to one for that.
Hashtag Larry the cucumber.
Hashtag
it's been
Larry Trevor.
It's been an interesting day here so far in free agency. I know we've recapped a lot of the. I thought we might see a little more trades.
Me too. I wonder.
I still haven't fed about Byram yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything confirming this Bowen Byram deal either.
It must have happened, but I haven't seen anything.
I don't believe it until I see it confirmed by someone that I believe.
Nas could still get traded. Rasmus Anderson, I think, will get dealt eventually. I don't think he'll stay in Calgary.
I know Kadri wants to stay in Calgary, though.
I do think he'll get
Calgary
traded.
shopping him, per se.
Well, because I wonder, it's like, because if they're getting rid of Rasmus Anderson, it's interesting if they do get rid of Kadri, since Kadri and Huberto were playing so well together this year. But I think Kadri might get. I don't think Calgary wants to keep paying him what he's being paid, and I think that's why he'll get dealt. But
7.5 is not that much.
it's not that much, but I don't think they. I think they want to get younger. I think that's what it really is at this point. So it's whoever's able to get them as many young players as they can get or draft picks that will get Anderson or which is why Vegas weren't able to get Rasmus Anderson.
Got nothing left.
Yeah, exactly.
What is interesting here, I mean,
Vegas
we are starting to see things
how they-
kind of slow
How are they
down.
going to like that? Oh yeah, it will eventually.
According to ESPN, Brooke Lopez is reportedly heading to the Clippers in NBA news.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
I don't know
about
how you
that.
So
boys
the
feel
NBA
about
free
that.
agency as well.
I'm not surprised given that Miles Turner's now with the Bucks. Makes sense.
That is crazy.
I thought he was
But
going to the Lakers.
the
but
Pacers were going to try to keep it together.
Yeah, but I just think
But-
it's interesting. Well, the only reason
I
the
guess if
Bucks made the
Tyrese
deal is
Halliburton isn't playing next
'cause
year,
Dame- yeah, well, because Dame,
Right.
well, yeah, well, he tore his Achilles, so he's not going to play at all.
he may not even play next
potentially.
year.
Yeah, it puts them in a weird position.
I want to
I
ask
don't
you
know.
guys, since we're in a little bit of a pause here, and obviously we can interrupt and change this if we see a big free agent move happen. But the CFL Power Rankings came out today, which I will be releasing mine either later tonight or tomorrow. But I just want to quickly talk about the Edmonton Elks being ranked dead last again. How are we feeling about the Edmonton Elks being rated as the worst team in
BC,
the CFL
bro.
right now? You think it's BC even though Edmonton hasn't
Yeah.
won a game yet?
I
I
say
don't care.
BC too.
I was watching that game. Man, they look abysmal.
Well, their
They
defense
are
is really
so
terrible.
bad. Everything
can't-
about them is bad.
But for me, it's kind of
Well,
hard
okay,
to
well,
rank
I
them
think they
lower
should've
than a
kept
team that
Vernon
hasn't
Adams.
won. Sorry, go ahead, Adam.
I think BC should have kept Vernon Adams. I
Yeah.
think Vernon Adams was really good last year, and I think
Oh yes.
getting rid of him was a mistake, and I think it's a mistake they'll regret because
I
they're not
agree.
doing well. Like it's all just not going their way at all, and it's just like Vernon Adams was their guy last year, and I
And I think they had a good culture with him.
We're coming back, and I also think Nathan Rourke came back. Like them flip flopping between the two didn't help the
That
situation.
was terrible.
Didn't help.
No, it's bad.
And then I get why they want to keep Nathan Rourke because I think they believe more in him than they did in Vernon Adams, which is weird given how well Vernon Adams played last year for them. But they're now in a weird situation where, like, they're just I don't things are going to get worse before they get better for them. And it's just
It's tough to say with BC what's going on there. Like, I think the only reason why people are ranking BC ahead of Edmonton, BC's at 8th, by the way, is that Edmonton hasn't won yet. They've came close.
Yeah.
Like they pushed Winnipeg pretty good last week, but at the end of the day, they still lost. So you're still
that was against
0-3.
Winnipeg too.
But at the end of the day, you're still 0-3, and BC did beat Edmonton, and I think that could be part of it too.
We got a funny comment just from X. Just people being like, has anyone checked in on the LA Kings today? Are they okay?
They're just popping off. They have no chill today, apparently.
Yeah, the LA Kings have been very, very, very busy.
I think the Kings are a little bit desperate.
Their GM is Ken Holland, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he likes to spend. He likes to
but he's
walk
done a
into the
good job
casino
not
and just throw his
spending.
dollars in the air. You get money. You get money. You get money.
Yeah, exactly.
I know it's free agency, but I don't think something people are not paying attention to enough is Gavin McKinney is supposed to make a decision soon about where he's going to school. And I just saw this, but Gavin McKinney might be going to Michigan State next year, which is interesting because he'll be going with his teammate from last year. I forget his name off the top of my head, but Gavin McKinney it's either Penn State or Michigan State. He might be going to Michigan State, which is interesting. given I didn't think he was going to be leaving CHL, but Gavin McKinney going to the NCAA route is very interesting to say the least. I don't remember which. Oh, I think it's Caden Lindstrom is going to Michigan next year. That was his teammate. I think that's going. I could be wrong on the name. Probably am. But one of his teammates is going to Michigan State next year. So I think that was a bonus if he does sign there. So
I would think so.
Yeah, because he did visit Michigan State Monday. I think he went to Penn State, I think, over the weekend as well. So it's very interesting because they have 13 NHL draft picks currently, Michigan State, plus the reigning Hobie Baker Award winner. So I think things are going to get very interesting.
That's for sure.
Do you think we're kind of done with today?
Trey
Augustine. Over now?
I could still see a little bit more going on in the next couple hours.
I think trades will happen, but I don't think any big signings. I don't think.
Yeah, I think all the major signings are done for the day.
Do you think we see anything big on day 2, or you think we're going to see a few day lapse?
I think Ehlers and Granlund will take their time with their decisions. I think more specifically, I think Ehlers will take his time.
So where do you guys want to see Ehlers go?
Toronto. I might be so happy.
I'd rather have Toronto. I'd rather get Granlund for Toronto personally.
I don't know.
I'm with Lane. I want to see him going to Toronto. Replace Mitch Marner.
I would love for him to go to Toronto, but I think he'll go to somewhere in the States. If he doesn't stay in Winnipeg, I think personally he may go somewhere in the States.
Where's he going? I can see. You think
Vegas?
Yeah. No, I think he may go to Utah or even San Jose potentially, just because they have the space to pay him. I think they do have the space to pay him.
Why not Chicago?
I think Chicago. I don't think Chicago I think Utah are further along in their rebuild than Chicago is, and I think
I agree with you. Yeah,
potentially, I think if he potentially wants to win, I think Utah would be a good spot. Just because I think Utah are so good and so young. I think Utah are in the mix to make the playoffs next year.
It looks like Vegas is trying to make some trades. Hey, Lane?
They do. They don't. Well, because if Petrangelo is basically be retired, like, will the NHL allow them to put him on LTIR, I guess, at this point?
I think so, I don't think he's retiring due to injury.
I don't think he's officially retired, which is interesting. But at all,
so we're retiring due to injury, though, right?
Yeah, but they do need to make trades, which is I'm surprised they took William Karlsson off of the trade market.
Yeah,
because I do think they need to. I do think they need to make a trade, and I thought William Karlsson would have been one that's easier to make than anybody else. But
that's, I think so. Center.
But yeah, no. But I wonder because I don't think they'll trade Shea Theodore at this point. So I think they do have a lot of interesting decisions to make.
Well, they're over the cap right now too, by $6.8 million roughly. Now, as I'm assuming that's without Pietrangelo going on IR. So I guess you're okay.
No. So they would have 2 million left in the bank because I think Pietrangelo is making just over 8. Maybe Petrangelo making either 8 flat or just over 8. But no, they will have basically no room, I think, at this point.
So I don't know where Ehlers goes then.
Whoa.
Which is why I think he's going
maybe
to
Carolina. Carolina.
Carolina could be interesting, but how much space does Carolina have? I'm not sure how much space they have, but I think they would be interesting. But does Carolina really want to bring in another winger? And where does he play? He would play in their top 6, but on which line? That's the real question. They have 26 million in cap space. They have 26.7 million. They're under the floor right now, so they do need to spend money to get over the floor. But I think that might be without the Stankoven.
We lost extension. Lane. He ran away. Now it's just Adam, myself, and Sleepy Danny.
So they
Dan, are you
so that's
tired
with-
or is it the sunlight?
A little bit of both.
So that's without the Stankoven deal. Is their 27 million? So they still have over 20 million cap space.
That's a
They would
lot.
be over the.
Now you got to
floor
replace
with the
Burns and
Stankoven deal.
Orlov though if you're not bringing them back.
Like,
That's true. They also still have to re-sign Jack Roslovic. Tyson Jost is up. Burns and Dmitry Orlov are both up. Frederick Anderson still has a year left on his deal. And that's without anybody on LTIR. So they're in a good spot. They could
That's what I'm saying. So I
think
could see
would-
them going for Ehlers, pushing hard.
yeah,
for
that could be a big player.
Very interesting.
I think that could be a really good
I
move
could-
for them.
Is Colorado
Yeah,
moving
that's
Nietzsche's or no?
Natchez,
No.
that's another move that could be happening.
I think they might keep him. Well, I guess it would depend on what they get for him.
Well, that'd be very up moving one
But
way
if they want to
around.
be competitive, I think they keep him for at least another year. Like I think
Yeah.
there's benefit to that. But interesting for Carolina, they currently have 3 players making over $7 million with Seth Jarvis, Andrei Sheshnikov, and Sebastian Aho. And they're all signed until 28, 29. And then Jarvis and Sebastian Aho are both have a year plus. So they're both Aho and Jarvis are until 29, 30, and Shezhnikov's until 28, 29.
Wow.
Wow.
Carolina just makes a big move still.
But do you know who we need to welcome
Carolina-
back into the room? Wayne Dashy Dash. I don't know why.
I
he
don't
ran
know
away.
what. I don't know what. No, my whole computer crashed. I was just trying to give my thoughts on Vegas and Puckpedia, but apparently my computer's like, no, we're not talking about Vegas.
Wayne, I nearly cried when you left the room, but it brings me joy that you're back.
Well,
I did almost in tears, you know.
I did want
It
to
broke
ask,
my
like,
heart.
here my computer won't let me share it, but like what I was trying to share it with, I was like, who is this team going to move to get back? Like they got Marner, they want to get Rasmus Anderson. Like I just don't viably see how they can add all these
They
pieces.
tried to get Rasmus Anderson, but they couldn't. I heard that they might have tried yesterday. I was hearing that they were going to do. There was the potential. They tried to get Rasmus Anderson to then send Rasmus Anderson to Toronto for Marner. Was what they were trying to do.
Oh,
So they were trying to acquire Rasmus Anderson to then move Rasmus Anderson to Toronto to get.
Winnipeg
bring
Jets
back
have just
to bring
signed
back-
Tanner Pearson, 1 year, $1 million.
Ooh.
Oh, I like that
that's-
trade.
I like that signing.
I've just gone over to Vegas because I just wanted to see they could move. So they have Eichel on 10 million.
I don't know how they
next
could get
year, so they need
Rasmus.
to
I agree.
sign-
I don't know how they get
So
Anderson.
Jack Eichel, they need to re-sign Jack Eichel next year. They got Mark Stone for 2 more years. Tomas Hertl signed until 29-30. They could move Hertl. Hertl's making 6.7. William Karlsson's making 5.9 for the next 2 years. Ivan Barbashev's making 5 for the next 3 years. And then Keegan Kolesar is making 2.5 for the next 3 years. Brett Howden's making 2.5 for the next 5 years. Riley Smith he has 1 year left. Brendan Saad has 1 more year left. Colton Sissons has a year left. Pavel Dorofev has 1 year left. They still need to re-sign Olofsson, and they have 3 RFAs they need to sign. Bertangelo.
I don't think
is
Olofsson
gone
stays
on-
in Vegas.
Neither do
Well,
I.
Shea Theodore until 29-30. Hannafin and Shea Theodore are both making over 7 on defense
But that's not
until
bad for them.
29-30. Yeah. Brandon McNabb's making 3.6 for the next 3 years. Zach Whitecloud's making 2.75 for the next 3 years. Jeremy Lozano is making 2. Jacob keeps whispering and creeping me out a little bit.
What else
Aiden
is
Hill
new?
is making 6.2 until 29-30. They still need to re-sign Ilya Samsonov unless they're going with Akira Schmidt as the backup.
You
But-
watch Edmonton's going to have to go
Very
for
interesting.
Samsonov and just pray for the best.
Yeah.
Well, because
Because
I would
Stan
assume
Bowman
that
said
they're
there's going to be a
protecting
change in net for Edmonton. He was very clear on that he liked his
Yeah.
defense and forwards and D needed to change. So to change your forwards, you've lost Corey Perry, Evander Kane, brought in nobody, and signed Evan Bouchard to way too much money, and didn't go for any goalie that was a reasonable contract.
Crazy.
Like, what does Edmonton do in net? James Reimer.
Optimus Rhyme? Let's go.
Yeah, but who else is there? Like,
Okay.
Samsonov's inconsistent.
Yeah,
I don't think
Carter
Samsonov
Hart
is an
is-
upgrade from Pickard.
No.
Carter Hart's the only one left. Well, no,
No.
because Zach Vitale was out of contract in the KHL for a little bit, but he signed yesterday. That would have been funny if they brought Zach
Or
Vitale back.
did they
into
call
the
Montreal?
NHL.
Did they go to Montreal and bring in Dolbus and think maybe he's better than what Montreal thinks he is?
Yeah,
Well,
I like Dolbus.
They
I don't
could
know.
throw
They could
well, they
throw
could
off.
throw him. I think because it was Dobis thrown. Was he qualified as an RFA? 'Cause I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure he's
remember.
an RFA.
I think he was.
But so the Leafs have just over $5 million left in cap space, by the way. So I don't know how much they could really do. They can't
yeah, but that's why
really-
they're trying to trade Kempf and or Yarncroke, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think the Leafs are
Yeah.
done yet. If they are, I'm actually not
No,
overly disappointed.
Well, because remember, Ryan Reeves is out next year, anyways. Same thing with
That's
Scott Lawton. Lawton's out next year. Bobby McMahon's out next year. He only has a
That's
year.
not good because he's going to get paid.
Robertson.
If he puts up another 20 goal
Robertson
campaign,
still needs to be signed. Robertson still needs to get signed. And by the way, Robertson is still 4 years out from being a UFA after this year.
Well, so either way.
From an so he still needs to be signed. I think Robertson gets traded though. I don't think Nick
I think so,
Robertson
too.
stays on this team because he's a defensive liability.
he doesn't fit, and he
And
doesn't
he's
fit
not,
here.
he's not consistent enough of a scorer for the Leafs to keep him around, in my opinion. So it could be very interesting. Domi could
Yeah.
still be moved potentially with Nicholas Waugh now on the team,
Right.
which could be interesting. Because I think Waugh plays center on that third line, anyways. Like I don't think he plays second line minutes.
He's projected to play on the third line center.
Yeah, because John Tavares could still play as that second guy. Yanni Hakopen is still on the market too at 33. He probably won't. I doubt he plays for the Leafs ever again. Anyways, he probably won't sign with us, but makes things interesting.
It's funny when you sign a player that's like you look at 2017 where it's like Corey Perry sucks and it's like, well, never mind. That's funny.
I love
Edmonds
I
having
love
a
when
little
that
bit of
stuff
fun with this one.
I
That's-
love when that stuff happens.
That's something the Leafs would do with Brad Marchand to be like, well, we don't care now.
Yeah, that's
I thought that
funny.
was funny to
I like
share.
that.
We're hearing Bowen Byram,
So
by the way, is in the $7 million range, according to Darren Dreger as well.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
How much
It's
you
not,
wanna
but when you look at
sign?
Cody, but dude, if Cody CC is 4.5, if Evan Bouchard is 10.5, Bowen Byram 7. It's the market.
read the
the
room,
market.
right?
It's kind of like Lane. It would be insane if I sold you this book for $600, right?
True.
But
You
if
would-
Adam has the same book and he sells it for $700, and Dan has the same book and sells it for $5, well, all of a sudden now $600 for this one's not a terrible price because
How
you're
much-
right in that market.
How much money is Tanner Person signing up Winnipeg for?
$1 million.
That's a great signing.
I like that signing a lot
I
for
will-
Winnipeg.
Did he play at Winnipeg at one point? I don't think
Yeah, he
so.
did.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
he
did.
did.
Oh, his way. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Boy, that's great. We
Mhm.
lost. Way to Tanner for 3.5, but we got Tanner Person at $1 million. That's a very good move.
And they're still trying to bring back Nikolai Ehlers.
Oh, we are. Okay, interesting.
I don't think
Maybe
Ehlers
they
stays
do.
in Canada.
Yeah.
That's why I think the Leafs need to focus on Mikkel Garland. I think
Oh,
that's your
Jacob, I
guy.
got some CFL news for you. I know you like
What's
this.
that?
Wow,
Type-
big CFL news.
I don't know who this is, but you'll know who it is probably. The Ticats have released defensive back Sermon Bayagugayo.
Why?
Weird.
We'll have,
sure
to give
that-
we'll have to give a friend of the program, Ty Cats Talk, a ring and see what he thinks about that.
Yeah.
We should.
That's an
That
odd
would
one,
be
though.
great.
I don't know what Hamilton. Weird thing too to me because Hamilton just got a big win. Why shake up the locker room more?
Yeah, makes no sense.
Like, you
Hamilton's
just
kind
beat
of bad for
Montreal.
that.
They're the heavy favorite to beat Toronto this week, which I disagree with wholeheartedly. But they are the heavy favorite to beat Toronto in BMO Field. That's a
Why?
weird one.
When is the Argo game next
Friday.
Friday.
It's the 4th of July.
Partying, yeah. It's Friday. But no, it's been an interesting day for sure.
Oh, a lot of movement, a lot of good. Like there's some players getting overpaid, but there's also some really good value contracts too. I think people are going, "Oh, haha!" Later on here, like a Tanner Person signing. That's a great signing for Winnipeg, for example.
Very low risk, right? So,
as much as I don't like Jonathan Drouin much as a player, I really like him in the Islanders for $4 million. I think that's a great signing because the Islanders really need some depth and forward. So there's some big good moves going and some weird question marks of why Edmonton hasn't had a goalie yet.
Unless there's a goalie that we don't know about.
Yeah, it's possible, I guess, but I don't think so. There's only so many
Carter
goalies,
Hart,
right?
then. I think it has to be Carter Hart then. For God
I
knows
guess
what
so.
reason.
Oh,
You can't even sign them until you know. I'm pretty sure you can't even sign them until they are allowed back. They're not even allowed to be in the league right now. So.
No, they're not suspended or anything, as far as I know. I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure.
You can win him. I think it was just. I think
you can't play when you have a I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to play in a league when you have like a criminal charge on you.
I think you can.
Let me look it up and see.
I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to. Because like usually when it happens in a sport, you looked at the Wander Franco situation. He was cut immediately and was black. Like they said, basically they basically say until your court case is over, you're not allowed to play.
Apparently he is.
Who?
Carter Hart is eligible to play.
He is?
Look and see. Apparently.
I think Philadelphia cut him on their choice.
Tampa Bay Lightning have just signed Nick Abrizi, former Leaf, to a 1-year, 2-way contract.
Interesting. Abrizi was another player that was good in Maurice. He's another player who was good in Maurice. The Leafs never really gave him a full chance to crack the NHL.
I would say that. The Leafs played him quite a few games. Never really quite fit, but congrats on him.
I only played, 8 games?
I wouldn't touch any of those players on a 10-foot pole. My opinion.
Yeah.
I wouldn't touch Carter
especially
Hart
until the verdict comes. And until the verdict comes up, there's no point in doing anything until the verdict is read.
But my worry is with Edmonton. I think they're waiting, and then it's going to blow up in their face, potentially.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, there's no one available, so you're signing James Reimer at 37, I think.
Jacob laughs at me. I think this whole Carter Hart situation is just creating drama that doesn't really exist. I mean, they don't need drama right now. They don't need more drama. Just starting to create drama. Getting Forsberg or Gibson or whoever, just would be an easy, quiet solution. And instead of we need to make a news blast, we need to create drama. Let's talk Carter Hart.
Unless they're going for Georgiev to hope that he's better here than what he's been in.
I think a lot of Jeff Skinner.
Maybe Alex Lyon.
Oh,
I know he was iffy in Detroit, but he was good in Florida.
Maybe Tristan Jarry out of Pittsburgh.
Maybe Tristan Jarry out of Pittsburgh.
I think that would be interesting because there's
not a lot of goalie depth available.
No.
Samson.
I feel like it's going to be Joseph Wall
now too. Dan, I don't think the Leafs are trading Joseph Wall. I don't know what your obsession is with that.
Yeah, we got a couple first round picks to him.
Doesn't make any sense.
Because it's just shocking. The LA Kings are done for the day after they spent all their money.
Wow.
They will not be spending it. They will not be spent. They will not be giving anybody else millions of dollars. They should give me $1 million.
That's a solid idea right there, Lane.
Well, they just gave Cody Ceci $4.5 million a year. So.
I am toughing it out with a mild concussion, everybody. I think I deserve. I think Ken Holland should call me personally and give me $15 million. I will gladly accept it.
I think Lane deserves a round
Yay,
of
Lane.
applause. A round of applause.
I'm just
for
kidding.
Lane.
I'm just joking.
We have a very long comment here about Carter Hart. So, I mean, you can't believe everyone, and there's a part of a group. So I'm not saying he's guilty, but I agree with Jacob. It would still put a dark cloud over the locker room. That's what I'm saying. Not the sense that anyone's side of the story is irrelevant, but also I associate with the Steelers about, I'm not going to say the words. Carter Hart is a little, again, but I kind of get what you're saying here. Final argument, I guess, is Hart isn't worth the cost. And that's how I feel about Carter Hart as well. I want to move on from him, but like, yeah, I think if you're Edmonton, it's just stupid. I'm sorry.
It's not worth the bad press.
Stan
It's
Bowman
just not
should
worth the
not
bad
have a
press.
job in the NHL.
Like
I still don't.
I don't know. Let's
He's a
say
clown.
you're like a
He's 42 in a
team.
karate class.
Let's say you're like
For the
a
class.
team in nowhere, and you take a gamble on
I don't know.
Carter Hart.
No. They're not even a team in nowhere. It's not worth it. I mean, at the end of the day, there's so much around that. I don't want to get into it because
It's bad press at the end
world's
of the day.
a pool
It's not
of
worth it.
idiocy. But like, it's not worth bringing a guy like that into your locker room because people are always going to believe one thing or another no matter what happens. And it's just not a good take. And I'm telling you right now, the more I'm seeing what Edmonton's doing, the more I'm thinking Connor McDavid's going to be moved by the deadline.
Yeah.
Who would be? Sorry?
Interesting.
Connor
McDavid?
McDavid. will
Coming to
request a
Toronto,
trade.
baby. Let's
The
go.
Toronto Maple Leafs.
Let's go. Bam, bam, bam,
I
bam, bam,
can't
bam, bam,
afford
bam,
him.
bam. Let's
It'll be
go.
Vegas
What
somehow.
would be
They'll
the
put
demand
Marner on
for
LTIR because it'll be their
What
What
last.
are
would
you
be
gonna
the
do?
demand
What do we do with
do you
Matthews
guys
and
think
all of them? We
the
bring in
demand-
McDavid. Makes no sense.
You make no sense.
I'm saying you can't afford
That's
to
a
keep
good point.
Matthews and McDavid.
You can't afford Taco Bell and the keg. I could go
Oh.
for Taco
Well, the
Bell.
king is very bougie.
I know we didn't get to, since we have a bit of a break. I wasn't able to come on yesterday. What do you guys think about this whole the Marner situation with the Leafs kind of like being like basically give us something or we're gonna like basically blackmailing them.
I love it.
Being a good
I love
GM.
it. That's a veteran GM doing veteran things. Why that's the
You-
difference between doofus and having a real GM.
You guys like that whole like kind of going after them,
Love
being
it.
like, well, if you don't give us something, we're just gonna shut this down and you
Well,
won't get
yeah.
anything.
Yeah,
But
because
would you
I
not
like
have asked? But here's my question
Do
though:
it.
would you not? Why wouldn't you have asked for something better? Like if I'm Leafs, I'm like, I want William Karlsson. I don't want Nick. Well, I want William Karlsson.
Because I
you
bet
only
Vegas
afford
said
so
no, we'll
much.
take our chances, and then we
Yeah.
said okay, we'll take Nicholas Waugh, who I think is a good player.
well,
Yeah, but
the reason it was
clearly
done-
they did something wrong. But here's my point: is they must have clearly done something.
Yeah, but
illegal.
every team does it, right? So we don't know if the NHL would have actually done anything about it.
No,
Apparently,
Jacob,
well,
it was
that's
being
not what
heard
Freeman said.
yesterday.
Friedman
Yeah.
said on
It was
his
rumored
podcast.
yesterday that the NHL wants to make an example out of somebody,
Yeah,
and they don't care who it is. They wanted to make an example this offseason. That's why they send like 2 notices to GMs telling them not to tamper. They weren't allowed to tamper. It was against the rules. They sent out what was going to be the punishments. And it's like the NHL clearly wanted to make a statement today.
Right.
If there was tampering allegations, they wanted to make a statement, and they didn't get the chance to do it.
So
Which
I'm
is
gonna say, why
interesting.
doesn't the NHL just do what the CFL does and just have a tampering window?
They
That's
used
a good
to. They
question.
used to have
I
a
don't
window
know.
for it.
So they just bring it
I
back.
think they used to have a window. Like, I think they used to have a negotiation window, and then they took it out during COVID.
I think getting Waugh in
You know, like,
return is pretty good return too. It's like, because all things considering, you're not going to get much. And I agree with you, Jacob Carlson would have been a nicer return, but we can only afford so much in our cap anyway.
No, I actually like Waugh for Marner in this situation.
Yeah, this is like straight up trade. No, but not even caliber trades. But in this situation, yeah, I really like it.
Do we think the Flyer? I got a question now. We could kind of create something. Do we just give the Flyers like a D on today? Like you spend $9 million on Dvorak and Vladar. Like that's insane.
I don't mind.
That's
I don't
pretty
mind the Vladar signing.
3.5 mil, that's a lot of money, bud.
I don't think it's that bad for what he is. He had a good year in Calgary.
he didn't have over 900 save percentage, but he gave him over $3.5 million.
Had more wins than losses.
I agree with Lane. I think they pretty well failed.
I just don't like the money they spent to get what they got. Like,
I guess
I think
Dvorak
was vigorously overpaid. Not really Dan Vladar.
seeing a lot of fans complaining about a lot of the Flyers fans are not happy with their GM today, and as I've been going through X, a lot of negativity on the Oilers today. Just people.
The Oilers too.
Oilers fans are livid right now.
Otherwise,
they didn't do anything better. They arguably didn't.
Well, they just got worse.
Yeah, they just got worse again. I thought they got worse last year. They got older, they got worse.
Well, do we just call it here? Do we see Edmonton make it to another Stanley Cup Finals? I don't think they do.
Not right now.
Vegas is the team to beat. Let's be honest. Vegas is the team to beat now.
In the West, no. I still think it's I think it's Colorado.
You still think so?
Colorado are too good not to.
I think Colorado was a fluke.
I don't think they're goalie, man. I don't think they're goalie.
I think Blackwood was not the problem. He played well.
Well, I'll say something crazy here. I'll follow Corey Perry and say that LA's got a legitimate chance.
I will say LA might have done enough to get, because they can't get by Edmonton. Well, I think Edmonton's taken a big downward spin.
We got Corey Perry, so it might just be enough. I mean, they got really good goaltending. I don't agree with letting their defenseman walk and signing Cody Ceci $4.5 million, but if they did get more bodies in the back.
And I am alive. Truthfully, I haven't even had breakfast. I've had a granola bar. That's it. So I'm a little hungry, but I am good. I'm not sure how much longer we are going to stay on. We may swing back on. Sorry, Adam?
I said you're just powering through it.
Adam knows I always forget to eat meals.
Bro, it's painful. Every time I come into work, you don't eat. It's like, oh, okay.
But it's been an interesting day in free agency for sure. It's an interesting day in the CFL as well, for a couple moves. Interesting day in the NBA. It's been an interesting off the field court day in sports.
Very business oriented day today. Well, we got
Toronto Blue Jays are currently tied at 0 at the top of the first.
We got a quick little moment. I just want to wish Happy Canada Day to our viewers. Got a Canada Day t-shirt on. I mean, what better way to spend a beautiful summer day on free agent frenzy for hockey, right? So Happy Canada Day, and just a reminder, I know everyone's going to be enjoying themselves drinking, but drink responsible and don't drink and drive. You know, don't want to end a beautiful day on a bad scenario. So have fun and be careful.
Yeah,
love that message, Dan.
That's a great message. That's the island mindset that's not even prompted. Good job, Dan.
Well, thank you. But it's like we got a little quiet moment, so let's talk about it. Let's just, we see a veteran out today, give them thanks for serving their country. That's why our country's as great as it is. And, even though some frustrating times, just be thankful to be Canadian, right? So.
Absolutely. I love Canada. I think, though, everything's pretty much at a stop for the day.
I think so, too.
So I think maybe we'll call it here. Maybe we'll jump back on later this evening if anyone's interested. We can come back down and do more of a recap for the day, maybe this evening. Any more big rumors?
I think we could better.
Oh, the Stars hired a new coach. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, I said that
we
earlier.
Did. Well, I'm deaf.
Well, clearly.
Come on, Jacob.
I told you guys before we came on.
Oh,
I know. I knew that.
But I think it's time we sign off for a bit. We will be back tonight.
Will we?
But why not? Elaine, you don't have to be if you want to.
Elaine's really asking the deep question. Will we?
Just gotta give Lane a lot of respect here. Lane had an injury here yesterday, and he's still trucking through for the island. So thank you, Mr. Darcy, and thank you, Mr. Adam, for joining us. Just Adam's been a loyal viewer of the show, and he's joining us. So, and thanks for all the great comments we had in today from all different platforms, and thanks everyone watching us. Pretty awesome.
And like I said, we will come back on later to kind of talk about what we think could be happening tomorrow. And we will have back to our regular scheduling pre-record episode coming out on Thursday. So thank you very much, everyone. Yes, we will be back in the evening. The fans demand it. Well, then we will do it. But thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I'm the self-proclaimed sports analyst, Jacob Moore. We had Adam
Jacob needs some lunch.
/Genius. Of course, Mr. Lane Dashing Dashco and Mr. Moore for your money.
Woo!
We'll be back.
Bye-bye.
Bye.